Hurricane warnings are up again in the Big East. Miami's back. Scott Covington leading a potent, quick striking attack with the dynamic Edgerrin James carrying for big yardage. Mike McMahon has led Rutgers to a 2-2 record. He's aided by the power running of Gary Fauntleroy. These forces collide today in New Jersey on the Big East Football Conference Game of the Week. Today, we're in the Garden State of New Jersey. It's the Miami Hurricanes looking for their first win in the Big East Conference, taking on the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. Hi, everybody. I'm Dave Sims along with Jeff Bostic. Good to have you with us. These Hurricanes, fast and deep, no question about it. And we start talking about that defensive unit. Derek Ham is their top sack artist. We'll see a lot of him today.
A young, quick, and very aggressive defense. Last time out against Virginia Tech, Derek Ham, number 71, sacking Al Clark. Tough 27-20 overtime loss at Virginia Tech. When you talk about the Miami offense, Scott Covington, their senior quarterback, very solid the first 3 games out. Big play receivers, yes, they have them. Number 87, Reggie Wayne.
You talk about Covington, he's got numbers that most quarterbacks would kill for. 8 touchdowns, just 1 interception. Now, his counterpart for Rutgers is Mike McMahon. As he goes, so goes Rutgers more often than not, coming off their first win against a Division 1A opponent after 16 straight losses last week.
You see his numbers last week against Army. McMahon has been inconsistent through the 98 season. When you talk about what's making the Rutgers football team better defensively, Dennis Crehan, their defensive coordinator, they're making big plays. Reggie Stevens last week against Army, he picks it off, he's gone. You know what? 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions in 1998. That hasn't happened here since 1975.
Miami has a strong core of running backs. James Jackson, just one of them. And the Rutgers Scarlet Knights have got to find a way to stop them. For a real car? Cloudy skies here in Piscataway, New Jersey. Big East Football Conference Game of the Week here on ESPN Plus. Our weather conditions. 56 degrees, gone up in the last few minutes. Wind not too much of a factor. Mostly cloudy skies is our forecast. Let's find out about other happenings here at Rutgers Stadiums. Our colleague on the sideline, John Sanders.
David, thank you very much. New defensive coordinator Dennis Crehan has given much of the credit for last week's win over Army, but he needs some help from the offense this afternoon. His defense has been on the field an average of 5 minutes more than the offense per game. That's probably going to change because Miami is last in the league in time of possession. But if the Hurricanes continue to average less than 2 minutes every time they score a touchdown, time of possession won't mean a thing today. David?
All right, thank you, John. And the offensive side of things for Rutgers, they want to keep the ball, get some long, sustained drives, and keep that explosive Miami offense off of the field. Miami, 9th in the country in scoring. Series history, Miami unbeaten. Last meeting, you see the numbers there, 51-23. Edgerrin James played a pretty big factor, and Miami outgained Rutgers by a substantial margin. Rutgers will be kicking off to Miami. James Jackson on the far side. And that man right there, number 21, that is James Jackson. Lee McDonald, number 25, senior out of McLean, Virginia, set to kick off for the Scarlet Knights of Rutgers. 2-2 overall, 0-2 in the Big East. They come in after a win against Army last week. McDonald has it ready, and here we go. Rutgers against Miami, and a great kick through the end zone. Another touchback for Lee McDonald, and the Hurricanes will put the ball in play at their own 20. Scott Covington, a big guy, senior out of Laguna Niguel, California. Good numbers on the season, completing 53% of his passes, 8 touches and 1 pick. First play from scrimmage, and Covington going to put it up. Got to run a screen, and it goes nowhere. Edgerrin James caught it, losing a couple of yards. Mike Bell with the tackle for Rutgers. Edgerrin James, you just saw him, 2 touchdowns, 5.7 yards per carry. Reggie Wayne, their big receiver, their top receiver with 14 catches, 263 yards. Damon Neely on the offensive line. He's dropped 22 pounds, and he is some kind of quick at 6'3", 300 pounds. Second down play. After a loss, James gets the carry. Sprint draw, right side, back to the 19-yard line. Picks up about 4 on that play. Terrell Freeney, the stop for Rutgers. Wayne Hampton, he's disappointed in how he's playing. So is the coaching staff. They look for a big breakout game for him. Aaron Brady, top tackler, 4th in the Big East. He has been outstanding, and Reggie Stevens has 2 picks, 4 touchdowns. A very big play guy in that backfield. Look at Brady, the senior out of Hanover, Pennsylvania. 3rd down and 11. 3 wideouts for Scott Covington. Got time, delivers, complete across the 30 to the 32-yard line to Santana Moss. He's a flyer. Brady brings him down. 1st down, Miami.
Allen Davis, number 1 for the Rutgers defense, giving too much ground. 3rd and 11. You know what? You've got an opportunity to press the wide receiver. You're talking about picking on Allen Davis. You see the separation. One reason, you're talking about speed. Number 6, Santana Moss, he's got it.
We saw him yesterday returning punts and kickoffs. He was in 2nd gear, and he was a blur. 1st and 10 for the Kings. 35, Edgerrin James runs up the back of his fullback and then makes a nice play out of it. Popped it outside. Louis Terso starting at right cornerback for the injured Garrett Shea comes up to make the stop. Edgerrin James carries the big load at 6'1", 220.
You know, when you look at him, he reminds me of a former Virginia Tech running back, Ken Oxendine. You know, he's a big guy that gets up into the hole. He never stops his feet. Good job of seeing where the hole was.
2 carries, 12 yards for Edgerrin James. Seeing later, 2nd down and 4 on the 41. Finds a hole outside and a good stop there. I tell you what, may have stopped the touchdown run because it opened up big. Ben Martin made the stop. He's the son of George Martin, Super Bowl champion with the New York Giants back in 1987.
Having talked with the Rutgers defensive coordinator, Dennis Crehan, this is one of the plays that he was worried about. It's the ISO. When you've got a fullback and Nick Williams is 265 pounds, it's almost like having another guard in the backfield.
Well, Dennis Crehan needs to stop here from the 44-yard line, 3rd and short. James in motion. James gets the call. They stretch it out. They bring him down. Nice play. Aaron Brady was there. Jabari Moore and Reggie Stevens. So a punt coming up for Miami. Good defensive stop by Rutgers.
This was the other play that really concerned Dennis Crehan. He called this the zone stretch. And you know, when you've got running backs like Miami has, they have a stable of tailbacks and get it outside. Miami's defense does a great job. Remember number 9. Number 9 has been huge for this defense. Reggie Stevens, 2 touchdowns on 2 interceptions this year.
Andy Crossland to punt, the left footer from Dallas. Stevens at his 20. Got a block and taken down there. Good tackle by Nate Webster. 38 yards on the punt. Good coverage by Webster and the Miami Hurricanes. Stevens, a valuable member of the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. He can do it all. Get a timeout on the field. When we come back, Rutgers will have the ball at its own 22-yard line here at Piscataway.
Now on pay-per-view, $500,000 in cash is up for grabs.
Booyah.
And it's anyone's game.
Here we go.
Rolling Stone magazine calls Jackie Brown a knockout. Pam Grier, Samuel L. Jackson, Robert Forrester, Bridget Fonda, Michael Keaton, and Robert De Niro, Quentin Tarantino's Jackie Brown. Now on pay-per-view, rated R. Soundtrack available on a band apart Maverick Records.
Tomorrow night on Sunday Night Football, the Seattle Seahawks are at Arrowhead Stadium to face the Kansas City Chiefs. Sunday Night Football begins at 8:15 Eastern on ESPN. Then on Monday Night Football, it's an NFC Central showdown. the Minnesota Vikings take on the Green Bay Packers at historic Lambeau Field. It all starts at 8 Eastern, Monday Night Football on ABC.
Mike McMahon on the first play, hands off to Gary Fauntleroy. Fauntleroy coming off fine performance last week against Army, had 2 touchdowns. He's looking at McMahon. He's got 1 touchdown, 6 interceptions on the season, completing 48% of his passes. Mike, the sophomore out of Wexford, Pennsylvania. 2nd down and 8 for the Scarlet Knights. First time they've had the ball this afternoon. Fauntleroy and Thomas. Hutton in motion. And McMahon did not set his feet real well on that play, and an incompletion. Michael Smith, 59 on the coverage. Dennis Thomas, big game last week, 120 yards against Army. Billy Powell, one of the many tall receivers, pretty explosive. He's their big play guy. He's got 6 catches, and Iasefa Pu'a'a'ayuli out of Radford High School in Hawaii.
Easy for you to say.
He's getting his 2nd start. A 3rd down and 8. Comes Andy Holland in motion. McMahon, quick drop, slant, it's there. Complete, good for a 1st down. Billy Powell with the catch. Dan Morgan will be calling his name a lot today. The quick slant covers 21 yards to Bill Powell, his 7th catch.
When you talk to Bill Miller, the Miami defensive coordinator, very impressed with what Terry Shea's doing offensively, spreading the field. Billy Powell, the one thing you talk about, yards after catch. Short throw, 10 or 15 yards after the catch. This is the 49ers West Coast offense.
Wearing number 80, he caught it just like Jerry Rice. Catches of 48, 42 yards last week against Army. From the 44, quick hitter goes nowhere. Right up the middle into the teeth of Miami's defense. Matt Sweeney was there to bring him down. Derek Ham, we talked about him. He's the sack leader, the senior from Merritt Island, Florida. Linebackers, Dan Morgan, top tackler on the ball club. 18 tackles per game. Edward Reed out of St. Rose, Louisiana. He's got 19 tackles, 3rd on the team. And talk about Dan Morgan, 4-letter word, stud. 2nd down 9 up the middle. Thomas, nice run, close to 1st down yardage. And how about Rutgers moving the pile nicely? Thomas pretty pumped up, the sophomore from Salem, New Jersey. Ed Reed with the stop.
When you look at Miami, you talk about a young defensive squad. 8 sophomores and freshmen starting. Rutgers, on the other hand, they have 8 seniors on their offense starting. Dennis Thomas last week, a huge game against Army. Tough running inside, good block. Pete Donnelly, senior right guard.
3rd down and 1 for the Scarlet Knights. First time they've had the ball. On short yardage. Fauntleroy, guess what? Dan Morgan got him, and I don't think he got it. Morgan was laying right in the hole, and Fauntleroy, 6'2", 245, is senior from Swedesboro, New Jersey. Had to go up against Morgan, a 6'2", 220 sophomore from Coral Springs.
Look at him filling the hole right there. You know what? There's not any push from that Rutgers offensive line. Dan Morgan, remember this kid's name. Only a sophomore. He is the first linebacker to start at Miami as a true freshman since Ray Lewis. And the last time I checked, Ray Lewis is probably the best middle linebacker in the NFL.
Saw Ray a few weeks ago down in Jacksonville, and it's scary how good he is. He's injured right now. He's a great player. And by inches, Rutgers makes it. Morgan did a good job fighting off the block of freshman running back Seth Stanton. But a good push by Rutgers, able to get the 1st down yardage. And look at the leading tacklers. If you're a linebacker, 4 of them in our game this afternoon.
And we'll keep a close watch on which set of these linebackers have the most tackles. Right now, advantage, Miami.
2nd 1st down. Picked up by Rutgers, and a big scramble here. And just what the Miami folks were worried about, a big package. Thomas maintains. Nice cut. Powers his way to the 35. Another 1st down for Rutgers. Nick Ward, number 3, came up to make the stop. Gain of 11.
What a job by Pete Donnelly, number 76 for the Rutgers offensive line, against number 92, probably their best defensive tackle. They really like Damian Lewis. They think he's going to be the next Warren Sapp, Jerome Brown. Dennis Thomas gains the tough yards inside. He follows his blockers. So far for the day, 2 carries, 19 yards.
Talking a lot of trash, too, to Miami. McMahon set up the screen. They get it to Jackie Crooks, and Crooks falls forward to the 30. Nice gain there. Delvin Brown, number 24. Jeff, do you detect a noticeable energy here to this Rutgers club? Talk about that in a second. First look at Dan Morgan.
Perfectly set up screen. You know what? They talk about this guy never getting out of position. Well, Bill Powell, the wide receiver, said, yeah, I can catch the football. I can also block.
2nd down and 5. You feel the energy from the Rutgers club?
I tell you what, it's amazing what a couple of wins will do for a school that's been down as long as Rutgers has.
They're going to blow that play dead before it really gets going. Thomas winds up taking a blow. Penalty flag.
It'll be interesting to see if they flag Webster of Miami or if they flag Rutgers. You know, normally it's the person that they see last.
The referee today is James McConaughey. So legal procedure. We got offsetting penalties.
Dead ball. False start on the offense. 5-yard penalty from the line of scrimmage.
Oh, first he gave 2. He gave. Okay, we're going to walk. Probably do them both there.
Dead ball. Personal foul on the defense. 15-yard penalty. First down.
So that personal foul for the shot they put on Thomas after the whistle was blown.
And that's something that has to drive a head coach nuts. You look at the penalties. Miami, well, we'll call it 35 now. They're dead last in the Big East. Number of penalties committed during the games.
Spread formation here. Butch Davis watching his team going against that. 1st and 10. Fade pattern. Andy Holland down there. Got bumped. And a flag. No, sir. Coverage by Mike Rumpf, number 8. Andy Holland, 6'3" senior out of Los Altos, California.
This would have been a great example if Mike McMahon, the sophomore quarterback, underthrows this football. It's a touchdown. Mike Rumpf, number 8, Miami defensive cornerback. Great coverage. You know what? Andy Holland did a good job of acting like the ball's not coming to him. If the ball is underthrown, the cornerback goes right past him. Andy stops, touchdown.
Or the other thing you could say, too, throw it up high. Rumpf is 6'2". Holland's got about an inch advantage. Here's Thomas again, stumbles through, running left side. Boy, that heating up. Damone Lewis, number 92 at the stop. Keep an eye still on Nate Webster. He and Morgan. A lot of licks in the middle of that line.
And we've seen Rutgers for the last couple of years. I have not seen this type of emotion from their offensive lineman, namely number 76, Pete Donnelly. What a difference this guy's made. I mean, winning a couple football games. We met with him yesterday. Much more relaxed. He smiles again. You know, football's fun again.
Pete Donnelly, 310-pound senior. 2 for 2 on 3rd down are the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. McMahon, slant, Powell, a little bit too high. And I tell you what, that could have been an insurance catch too. As you saw that corner coming over to add some assistance. Strong safety Edward Reed had Powell lined up. So the Scarlet Knights will go for the field goal. Steve Barone still looking to make his first field goal of the season as Shea and McMahon talk it over, and Terry Shea did not look happy. This is going to be marked at the 25. It'll be a 35-yard attempt. Barone has missed from 48 and 39 yards this year. Mike Jones, the holder. Snapper is Sean O'Hara. That part has worked well. Now a fake. Mike Jones is a quarterback. Rolling to his right. Throws it up in the air. He's got a man down there. And an incompletion. Tried to get it to Seth Stanton, the freshman out of Walton, New York. So some razzle-dazzle from Terry Shea. Incompletion on that fake field goal. Terry Shea figured, what the heck? Big underdog here. Let's see if we can strike here against Miami. good execution of the fake.
Good execution of the fake. I have to ask if Terry Shea knows something I don't. I'd rather have the points on the board. Number 40, Seth Stanton, one of the biggest fullbacks I've ever seen.
It's not close to that pass from Jones. We'll take a timeout, get back to Piscataway in a moment. That's Mike Gibson, the special teams coach for the Scarlet Knights of Rutgers, talking to Mike Jones, backup quarterback. Tried to execute the fake field goal. His pass was incomplete. Some action in the Big East. West Virginia playing at Navy, Mountaineers, and Akron and Pittsburgh later on this afternoon. Second opportunity now for the Miami Hurricanes. First time they had it, went from their own 20 to the 42 before punting. Scott Covington, 2 for 2 passing, 9 yards. Going to run Edgerrin James right side to the 20, 25-yard line, and wrestled out of bounds by Reggie Stevens. James got a nice little change of pace there, Jeff.
You know what, Edgerrin James is the kind of guy that, you know, he's going to set this Rutgers defense up. He's got enough speed to get outside, but when they come in with James Jackson, and the kid that I really want to see this afternoon is Davenport. They have got a stable of tailbacks that can really play.
21 yards on 5 carries for James. Second down play, nice cutback, got the first down and more. Boy, he made Ben Martin pitch a shutout. Martin came up from the safety to make the stop and missed everything. Marcus Perry with the stop on some good pursuit, number 59. First down, Miami. Other action around the nation this afternoon, a score from Columbus. Wisconsin trailing down in Bloomington. First down for the Hurricanes at the 35. Covington, little stop pattern outside. Reggie Wayne breaks it for about an 8-yard gain. Aaron Brady, Terrell Freeney got over quickly to make the stop. Reggie Wayne is 15th catch of the year.
You know, when you talk to the Miami people, Reggie Wayne reminds them of one guy, former Hurricane Michael Irvin. Tall, big receiver. You know what? He likes the lights on. He likes it when he's got the uniform on. Thus far for the season, 14 catches, 4 touchdowns.
Almost 19 yards a pop, too. That's not bad. Second and 3, fake the draw. Covington stands tall, delivers, and got Reggie Wayne again. So a second catch of the afternoon. That's good for a first down.
Scott Covington, the Miami quarterback, he is tasting gunpowder as he releases this ball. Number 11 meets number 11, Aaron Brady. You know what? You talk about Covington's maturity. He's a senior right there. That's face-to-face. Reggie Wayne, young guy. Everybody on this Miami offense, a young offense. I can only anticipate what this team is going to be in a couple of years.
Scary. Reggie Wayne, Andre King, top of your screen. James skates, finds a hole. Man, that's talent. because he didn't have a heck of a lot. Skated back to his left and picked up about 4 or 5. Jabari Moore with the stop. Good look at Mike Bell, senior from Paulsbury, New Jersey. Heavyweight wrestler in high school.
And he's got some of that interesting body art.
Yeah, right. Second down and 4. Santana Moss is in motion with James out in the flat. And he runs right through Louis Terzo. Louis Terzo at 5'8", 170. Didn't have nearly enough package to bring down James at 6'1", 220. Another first down for Miami.
Terzo is the junior cornerback filling in for Garrett Shea. Terry Shea's son sprained his ankle last week. Severe high ankle sprain. You know what? This is like a pinball. Edgerrin James never slows down. Big running back. You know, not breakaway speed. Got a little bit of power, though.
Yes, he does. 4th first down by the Canes. They run left side. James, penalty flag, and he got drilled up top by Aaron Brady. And the penalty flag before James was able to get to the corner. And a hold against the Canes. Butch Davis has done a good job turning around the Hurricane program. 24-13 as Canes
Holding on the offense. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Repeat the down.
Penalties have been killing the Canes most of this year. And today in our ESPN Plus Spotlight, we're going to be following Wayne Hampton of the Scarlet Knights. And we'll be following him throughout the first half. Junior out of Paulsboro, New Jersey. Guy with the tag of big talent, but hasn't delivered as of yet. Comes that potent Cane offense. Reggie Wayne, top of your screen. Got Andre King and Santana Moss at the bottom.
The field clock should read 4 minutes and 3 seconds. Please reset the field clock.
2 penalties, 25 yards for the Miami Hurricanes today. Right now facing a 1st and 21. Ball's at the 42-yard line. Nickel package defense for Rutgers. Here's Covington. They set up the screen. Edgerrin James got a couple of blockers down the sideline. A couple of great blocks. James fighting, got the first down, and guess what? All the way down to the 1-yard line. That is a marvelous play. Reggie Stevens finally brings him down, but some great blocking up front. Richard Mercier, the left guard, got out and just eliminated a couple of people.
You're talking about desire. That's exactly what happens on this football play. Good job of the offensive linemen becoming actors. Watch number 62, Mercier. Great job of blocking downfield. And you know what? Watch his legs. That's the key for a running back. Watch his legs. They never stop. Reggie Stevens able to bring him down near the goal line. That is 2nd, 3rd, and 4th effort.
Tell you what, that's a dead play at the 20-yard line for most people. Richard Mercier, what a great block by the junior from Montreal, Canada. Montreal, Quebec.
He missed all of 1997 with a ACL. It's good to have him back in the lineup.
You bet. Big East football, everybody. Good to have you with us from Rutgers Stadium in Piscataway, New Jersey. I'm Dave Sims with Jeff Bostic and John Sanders, and Miami Hurricanes are threatening. Second time they've had the ball. They've driven from their own 18-yard line. Now looking at a 1st and goal from the 1. That's one of the great effort plays we've seen all year. Terrell Freeney, sophomore from Waterbury, Connecticut, coming off the field. And I think he was in that pileup created by Mercier and some of the other offensive linemen. Neely got a good block on that play as well. Neely 6'3", 300. Mercier 6'2", 290. Ty Wise, the center, was the other gentleman out there throwing a block. He's 6'2", 285, a junior from Pensacola, Florida. Joaquin Gonzalez, freshman, number 73, 6'5", 290. Good size on the O-line. There's a look at the current drive numbers. 7 plays, 81 yards. And let's not leave out Robert Hall, 6'4", 290. He's at left tackle. First and goal. Nick Williams, the up back. Edgerrin James, touchdown, Miami. Made it look easy. So the Canes are on the board. And give James a lot of credit with that O-line on the screenplay, which covered 41 yards.
Very impressive Miami drive. They overcame 2 of their own penalties. That's the big key. A lot of it was on the back of number 5, Edgerrin James. Runs right through the arm tackle of number 56, Wayne Hampton.
Here's Crossland for the point after. Line drive, missed it, hooked it. The snap was right on the money. A holder, Jeff Popovich, a little bit of a bobble. And Crossland misses his second point after of this season. Edgerrin James, the star of that drive for Miami. Real easy touchdown right here from a yard out. Canes lead at 6-0. Welcome back to Piscataway, New Jersey, everybody. It's Miami leading 6-0, and let's go to sidelines. And John Sanders, can you tell us something about this field?
Yes, we can. This is a very new field. It's a beautiful field, but one of the problems, you look down here, are these divots. You'll see them all over the place. This is a sand-based field. They've done the best they can, but what's going to have to happen is going to take 2 or 3 years for it to come to full maturity and eliminate this kind of problem. It's solid, but you're going to get some divots, David.
Looks like the threesome of Sanders, Bostic, and Sims on the golf course, huh?
Speak for yourself.
I was waiting for your response. I was counting 1, 2. How about Miami? Is that scary when they score first since 1983, all the championships, national championships that they've had over the years? It's a program that had its problems, and Butch Davis trying to bring it back.
And you know what? They're beginning to get that little swagger again. They're starting to feel good about themselves again at Miami.
Butch Davis had some success with the Dallas Cowboys coming to Super Bowl. And here's penalty flag as they keep it in the end zone for the touchback. And a wise decision by Tosh Riddick. But a penalty flag back up at the 40-yard line.
Offside on the kicking team. 5-yard penalty from the kicking team's restraining line. Will re-kick.
Penalties, penalties, penalties.
These are the type of penalties that drive coaches absolutely bonkers. You know what? We're going to put the ball on a line. It's going to be straight. All you have to do is stay behind the kicker. You know, it's easy. You know, look at Butch Davis. It doesn't take 1 or 2. He says, stay behind the line. Talk about his days at Dallas. We got to see him a lot as a defensive coordinator. I'm very impressed with what he's done at the University of Miami. You know what? He went in there and he changed an image. You know what? Academics are going to be first here. Over 70% of their football players are graduating since he got there. Big improvement. And you know what? The way that they carry themselves as student athletes. Big change at Miami.
Todd Severs has it teed up again. Freshman from Kinney, Iowa. This one should be returned. Tosh Riddick from the 10, 20, 25, 30 to the 32-yard line. Another penalty flag. This a late flag. Tosh Riddick, freshman out of Allentown, Pennsylvania. This time you hear the groan. It's against Rutgers. So instead of having pretty good field position at about the 28-yard line, that'll back them up.
Illegal block in the back. On the return team, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
This drive will start from the Rutgers 19-yard line.
The officials are earning their money early in this game.
And as we've said, sometimes we have to get them their after card all this time on the air. Here comes McMahon. Powell and Holland to the bottom of your screen. There's Powell in motion. Gives it Thomas, left side. And Derek Ham brings him down. Spent some time with Terry Shea yesterday. His thoughts on Miami's very quick defense.
They really close on the football. You know, you think you're maybe a yard and a half away from them in terms of carrying the football or about ready to throw the ball, but then all of a sudden they're on top of you. So that kind of speed has to establish itself in the first quarter, and you've got to be able to deal with that.
Terry Shea got Riddick in motion. McMahon back to throw. Over the middle. Got a man. Oh, into the chest of Chris Hutton. The tight end did not use his hands. It would have been a first down at the 32-yard line had he held on. Cardinal rule of receivers, get the hands out.
You know what? There are two things when you're receiving the football. Catch it and run. It never goes the other way. Run and catch. Good job of McMahon sitting in the pocket. Number 92, Damian Lewis, applying the pressure. Gosh, Chris Hutton, that hits you in a bad place. He'd like to catch that ball. You know, again, unfortunately, third down and long.
2 for 7 is McMahon in the passing department today for 25 yards. Final 2:37 here, first quarter at Rutgers Stadium. Holland in motion. 8 men in the box. Slant pattern. Recocked. Couldn't get it to Powell. Covering on the play was Mike Rumpf. That play successful back in the first possession by the Scarlet Knights. So a 3 and out for Mike McMahon, who's off to a bad start.
And you know, Mike McMahon, you know, unbelievable freshman season. We've seen him a couple of times this year in '98. Very inconsistent. And you know, he almost seems uncertain what he's doing with the football. When you watch a quarterback, watch his feet. And if he continues to pat that football, there seems to be something missing right now with Mike McMahon.
Michael Barr with the punt. And taken there by Nick Ward. And Nick Ward gets drilled at the 42-yard line by Jack Bloom, the sophomore from Toms River, New Jersey. Toms River South, and Toms River certainly in the news this year with their Little Leaguers winning the World Series. They were here last week, honored by the Rutgers folks. 44-yard punt.
That's one thing those kids from Toms Rivers, New Jersey will never forget.
Oh.
Being a part of the World Series Championship Little League team.
That is one heck of an accomplishment. Here comes Miami from its own 43. End around this time, and it's snuffed out quickly. Mondriel Fulcher, backup tight end. Ansel George Shield and Wayne Hampton with the stop for Rutgers.
Denny Crean, the defensive coordinator for Rutgers, said yesterday, we will have to be disciplined. We will have to stay in our lanes. They're going to try and stretch the field with their speed. Good example right there. Number 96, Ansel George Shields. That's an all Big East name. Staying at home, putting a stop to the reverse.
Second down play here. No gain on that one. Quick look outside to Santana Moss. Stays on his feet, but they say he's out of bounds. Knocked out of bounds by Gil Ross. They're glad to have him back. Gil had a sprained toe against Syracuse a couple of weeks ago. He missed the Army game, number 19. There's Gil. East Orange, New Jersey junior.
And if anybody has ever had a turf toe, you know exactly what he's going through. That's one of the most painful injuries that you could ever experience as a football player.
Big play here for the Rutgers defense. 3rd down and 7. Covington 7 for 7, 82 yards. Fulcher in motion. Back to throw, left side, and down he goes. The completion only good for a couple of yards. Great coverage. Louis Terso, you saw him get run over the last time Miami had the ball. Terso comes up with a big play.
Terso is equal to the challenge. They're going to pick on him. Garrett Shea, the normal starting right cornerback. Scott Covington, yesterday, they were talking about spreading the ball around. Terso's in great position. You know what? You're talking about having somebody outweighed a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit. Here's Crossland. Good punt this time. Stevens at about the 12. Got a hole. And it got closed up in a hurry, didn't it? Nicely done. The coverage by the Miami Hurricanes. Will McPartland, a backup fullback, with the stop. He's a sophomore out of Scranton, Pennsylvania. And how about the midshipman of the Naval Academy, leading West Virginia 10-zip. That down in Annapolis. No score from the banks of the Olentangy in Columbus. Hoosiers leading Wisconsin 3-0. Have you seen Wisconsin, the biggest team in the NCAA?
Well, they've got a running back that's big as most tackles, right?
Ron Dane.
Ron Dane's about 275.
Boy, I saw him turn loose last week on a play. My goodness. That punt is a 39-yarder. Rutgers has the ball at the 19. Second time they've started from here. Play action. Sideline. Fade. How about he took it back? Are they going to give it to him? They should. That should be for Rutgers, indeed. That's a great play by Bill Powell. Mike Rumpf had it, and then Powell took it away. First down, Rutgers.
This is as good an individual effort as you'll see all year long. Mike Rumpf, number 8, cornerback for Miami. Great coverage. You know what? We've got a wrestling match for the ball. Billy Powell reaches up at the last moment and brings, that's an amazing catch right there, folks. You will not see anything better than what you just witnessed all year long. Great reception.
Terrific concentration, a 28-yard pickup. The big plays continue for Bill Powell. Play action. Here's McMahon over the middle. Got time. Make it picked off. Powell, the intended receiver, and he paid a price, but he bounces up quickly. Edward Reed covering along with Nick Ward. And I tell you what, Powell, when he made his cut, couldn't have been more open.
Powell, you know, and the bad problem, he's wide open. McMahon throws the ball. It looks like a dying quail. There were about 12 people in the stadium yelling, pull. Anybody who's ever shot skeet understands what I'm talking about. That thing was wild. It looked like Billy Kilmer from the early 70s.
The other thing, too, if McMahon had his druthers, he'd lead him because he had already split the safeties. 2 catches, 49 yards. 2nd and 10 to throw again. McMahon gets it out to Jackie Crooks. Crooks, couple of blocks, breaks a tackle, loose ball. Another turnover by Wait a minute. Nobody can recover. It's like Miami got it, though, in the final analysis. So Rutgers, in the process of mounting a good-looking drive, they turn it over.
This was like somebody told me about Otis Sistrunk when he was first born. You know what? As soon as he was born, they told his mom, this could get ugly. This play started ugly. Mike McMahon double pumps the football, turning end over end. You know, Jackie Crooks, you have to wind up with the football. And, you know, Nate Webster's obviously never carried the football. They're kicking it around. This was a golden opportunity for the Rutgers offense to give their defense a break. And, you know, that's why this ball is oblong. It kind of takes funny bounces. Who winds up with it? Who would you expect, number 44? Dan
Here's
Morgan.
Covington, home run ball. He's got Wayne down there. Almost a great catch at the 15. Reggie Stevens was covering, and Covington really aired it out to Reggie Wayne. Good-looking throw.
Scott Covington for the season, 8 touchdowns, 1 interception. Big play receiver. 87, Reggie Wayne. He's picking on the wrong cornerback. Reggie Stevens has been up for the task all season long. If you're Miami, you may want to look on the other side. Number 24, Louis Turso.
Just one incomplete pass for Covington. Second down from the 44. Here's that second tailback, James Jackson. These guys have great ability to stop and start. Brady and Stevens make the stop. So we've got 15 minutes complete in the books. As we look at Fauntleroy after that big turnover by Rutgers. Miami Hurricanes with a 6-0 lead here at Rutgers. Good to have you with us. We'll be back for second quarter action right after this. Welcome back, everybody. Miami leading 6-0 over Rutgers. And let's take a look at our first quarter stats brought to you by the folks at Buick. Total yards, it's been Miami with a big edge there. Time of possession, not too much of a factor. The turnover, that's how Miami has the ball right now after Rutgers was in the process of mounting a drive. 3rd down and 5 as we start the second quarter. Here's Covington. Outside, got a man. That's Santana Moss. Nice running room there. And he advances the ball across the 40 to about the 37-yard line. Carl Mail, number 99, finally comes down to make the stop. Yesterday in our conversation with Butch Davis, the Miami coach, with what with Florida State on the schedule next week, would his club overlooked Rutgers?
Our kids are pretty focused for the ball game. Obviously, we're a young football team. We're hungry to play games. We have not gotten a conference win, and we need a win. And I think having not played last week, our kids are really hungry to go out and play. And so I think it should be a good ball game.
That time it was Covington trying to get the ball to Mondreal Fulcher. Incompletion. Gil Ross, number 19, covering for the Scarlet Knights of Rutgers. One of the guys that got a lot of credit in our conversations with the coaches yesterday, talking about their strength coach for Miami,
was Tom Moffitt, and he's just come to Miami, and they talk about, coaches being a big part of it. the strength coaches with these kids from March until the summer's over. You know, they're with them every day. Huge impact on what this football team has done.
Well, movement on that Rutgers defensive line. They're going to blow this play dead. Carried by James Jackson. Left side of the defensive line of Rutgers.
And the interesting story, you talk about improved strength with the Miami team. Their offensive line this summer, one of the most bizarre drills I've ever heard of. Ty Wise, the center for this Miami offense. He has a
Dead ball, encroachment on the defense, 5-yard penalty, repeat the down.
Ty Wise, the center for Miami's Hurricane offense. 1993 Ford Ranger pickup truck. The offensive line took turns pushing his truck 100 yards. And then they started putting bigger bodies into the tailgate and had people pushing the brake down. Probably one of the most archaic strength conditioning programs I've ever heard of.
Is that the with the brake on or what?
Yeah.
Second down and 5. Big room like a lightning bolt. There's another penalty flag. James Jackson got through that hole quickly. Picked up the first down yardage. Ben Martin, number 29, on the stop for Rutgers. And this time you see the Miami Ball Club walking backwards.
Holding on the offense. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Repeat the down.
And this is what you expect from a young football team. You know, thus far, this is 5 penalties, and we're barely into the second quarter. 45 yards. Young football teams do a couple of things. Penalties, formations, holdings, and turnovers.
Rich Davis. Club trying to make something happen on a 2nd and 15. They throw it to the fullback, and he gets a face full of helmet from Wayne Hampton. Nick Williams. Boy, he got blasted there. Hampton, the defensive end, dropping back in coverage.
Wayne Hampton, the Rutgers defender.
And Wayne Hampton's been one of those guys that Denny Crean, the defensive coordinator, can't quite get a pulse on. He says, when I look at the guy, he reminds me of a kid I had at the University of California, Ken Harvey.
It's a rave.
Yeah, that is a huge rave.
Spread formation on this 3rd and 12. 50% so far. Covington off his back foot goes to Fulcher. Fulcher slips on that turf, and he'll be well short of a first down. Jabari Moore makes the stop for Rutgers. Dax Strohmeyer also getting in on the action, and Dax has had a good year. Number 49, leading the club in sacks. So not a productive drive here by Miami. Crossland to punt. Standing at his own 49, and the left footer aiming for the right sideline. Nice job. Nice job as it's taken out of bounds. Mike Rumpf there to cover. The old coffin corner, very effective for Miami. And Rutgers will start at its own 5-yard line. That punt covering 32 yards. Well done by Andy Crossland. I want to talk about some good coverage. There's Mike Rumpf in some terrific position. We'll get a break on that play by Mike Rumpf. Rutgers pinned back at its own 5 when we return. Miami leading by 6.
Now on pay-per-view, $500,000 in cash is up for grabs.
Booyah.
And it's anyone's game.
Here we go.
Rolling Stone magazine calls Jackie Brown a knockout. Pam Grier, Samuel L. Jackson, Robert Forster, Bridget Fonda, Michael Keaton, and Robert De Niro, Quentin Tarantino's Jackie Brown. Now on pay-per-view, rated R. Soundtrack available on a Band Apart Maverick Records.
Tomorrow night on Sunday Night Football, the Seattle Seahawks are at Arrowhead Stadium to face the Kansas City Chiefs. Sunday Night Football begins at 8:15 Eastern on ESPN. Then on Monday Night Football, it's an NFC Central showdown. The Minnesota Vikings take on the Green Bay Packers at historic Lambeau Field. It all starts at 8 Eastern, Monday Night Football on ABC.
Six 0 Miami over Rutgers, and one gentleman looking to improve on his numbers here in the second quarter is Mike McMahon, the Rutgers quarterback, just 4 for 10, 63 yards, and he's had some folks open. We'll talk about field position advantage. It's been a lot better for Miami than Rutgers. This time, Scarlet Knights at their own 5.
Great place on the field to air it out.
They'll run with Thomas. He got hit quickly by Al Blades. Yes, indeed, that is Benny and Benny Blades' brother, younger brother, the sophomore out of Plantation, Florida. And Benny and Brian, that's the other brother. Couldn't remember his name for a second. No gain on that play. Al here coming off of reconstructive surgery on his left knee. Tore it up last year. 3 wide outs to the right for McMahon on the 2nd and 10. Looking left. Sideline ball. Great catch. Tight end. Nicely done by Chris Hutton, who was split outside. Makes the grab. He beat Nick Ward. Chris Hutton at 6'5", a senior, going against the 5'10" Nick Ward.
And this was all about setting up your offensive scheme. It was almost like a 4-wide package. Height advantage Hutton. This is where I really like throwing the football. If he can keep his balance, I'm not sure Hutton doesn't go all the way. You know what? We've seen some acrobatic catches. Billy Powell earlier in this game, as good a catch as you'll want to see. That one's not bad.
26 yards on that pickup by Chris Hutton. Much better field position right now to the 31. Thomas trying to get outside. Nicely done as he cuts it up. That play was forced. Nate Webster brought him down. But that play was forced up front, too. Made him cut back inside. Number 93, Michael Barreau. There's Mike, junior out of North Miami Beach, Florida.
I'll be ready for games and shit, man.
2-yard gain. Ball's at the 33. Jermaine Robinson. They run the option. Thomas to the outside. Look at that Miami speed. Look at that speed. Number 44, Dan Morgan. It's almost like he knew the play coming out of the huddle.
Well, Terry Shea mentioned it yesterday. You think you have a play, you've got a yard or two advantage, all of a sudden it closes. Watch the right of your screen. That's Jack Flash. You know what, number 44, Dan Morgan, closes the ground. You know, last time I checked, Dennis Thomas was pretty quick also.
You bet. Morgan is piling up tackles all year. 3rd and long here for Rutgers at the 29. Man, pretty good protection. Throws over the middle. Ball got deflected. They had time, and then the pocket absolutely collapsed. Made it tough. Big East football game of the week, everybody. It's Miami and Rutgers. Dave Sims, Jeff Bostic, and John Sanders with you from Piscataway, New Jersey. McMahon struggling this afternoon. Barr, 2 punts, both of them 37 yards. Line drive, got a chance to be returned. And straight up the middle goes Nick Ward. Nicely done into Rutgers territory to the 46-yard line. So Ward with a good return. Dax Strohmeyer with the stop for Rutgers. The penalty is against the Scarlet Knights. A 33-yard punt, the return of 17 yards. Terry Shea in the sunglasses, the head coach.
Illegal procedure on the kicking team. 5 men in the backfield. The penalty is declined. Miami will take over. First down.
Special teams mistakes.
Rutgers basketball fans, be sure to take note of Friday.
And Miami will start with its best field position of the afternoon at the 46-yard line of Rutgers when we get back.
Presenting Furious Style.
We continue with Big East football. Miami 6-0 over Rutgers. And let's go sidelines to John Sanders.
David, thank you very much. I'm joined now by Robert Mulcahy, who is the new director of athletics here at Rutgers. You look behind us, the RU and the flowers, new shrubs, lots of scarlet paint all throughout this stadium, all designed to make it more fan-friendly and give you a true college football atmosphere, right?
John, that's exactly what we're trying to do, is to give people an environment in an afternoon or an evening so that they can come back. This is real college football, and that's what we're trying to give the fans.
And so far, so good. Let's go back to the action. David?
All right, thank you, John. Thank you, Bob. Edgerrin James on the carry. Mike Pridgeon. Dax Strohmeyer getting some action, 48 and 49 on the stop. Good look at Rutgers Stadium, and Mountaineers on the board, trailing 10-3. Penn State with an early lead at Ohio State. Big game in the SEC. Florida on top, and Wisconsin still trailing Indiana. No gain on that play. 2nd down and 10 for the Kings. First time they've had the ball starting a drive in Rutgers territory. Nice slant pattern. 3rd catch of the day by Reggie Wayne. Brought down by Mike Pridgeon. Reggie Wayne, 3 catches, 26 yards, and averaging 18 yards a pop. Not bad. He's named to the watch list for the 1998 Biletnikoff Award as the nation's top receiver.
When you talk about the problem with the Rutgers defense, 2 weeks ago against Syracuse, the Syracuse offense started on the 50-yard line of Rutgers 11 out of 14 possessions.
It's not good. James in motion on this 3rd down and 1. The fullback, rare carry, and a nice game. Big pickup. Nick Williams rumbles to the 19-yard line, the senior from Farmington Hills, Michigan. Ben Martin, Reggie Stevens prevent further damage. 18 yards on the game by big Nick Williams, 265 pounds.
Good job up front, led by number 64, Ty Wise. Mercier, the left guard, 62 with a key block. Nick Williams, once he gets into the open field, it's like a runaway Coke machine. I mean, this guy is 6'2", 265 pounds. Jump on.
Ty Wise with a good block. James, boy, looked for it and found it. Look at that cutting. To the 5. They try to knock the ball out. They do. Good job by Gil Ross to strip him. That's a huge play as Rutgers takes over. Edgerrin James sloppy with the ball. And a fumble inside the 5-yard line. Jabari Moore there. 17 yards before the carry. Moore with the recovery.
We talk about the things that young football teams do. They turn the football over, a lot of penalties. They are taught this drill every day in practice. Number 19, Gil Ross, stripping the ball. Number 15, Jamari Moore, is the man on the spot. Big recovery for this Rutgers football team.
Tell you what, Miami was going to get at least a touchdown on that drive. And Butch Davis certainly has a right to be upset. Turnover story, one apiece. Thomas, left side for a couple. Nate Webster, number 52, is there. Boy, when you start making turnovers like that when you're in scoring position, then you get all the coaches, you get everybody riled at you, get your teammates mad at you. The old lineman got to be a little hacked off too.
Well, you see right now, nobody is coming around Edgerrin James and you know, saying, hey, it's okay. They leave him alone. The most upset person is the person that fumbles that football.
2nd down and 7. McMahon, Thomas, quick hitter. Maybe a couple. Dan Morgan, number 44, with the stop. And Thomas face down, and he was the guy the first couple of carries was selling a lot of wolf tickets, still is, to the Miami players, and he gets up limping. He's a guy a couple of weeks ago you were trying to show him how to do some long snap.
Yeah, he's a young kid. He's very excitable, and right now it looks like he may have sprained his knee just a little bit, kind of walking off gingerly.
Here's the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. They'll go with Fauntleroy and Crooks in the backfield. 3rd and 5. Rutgers 2 of 5 on 3rd down situation. Underneath. Gets it to Fauntleroy. And Fauntleroy's got the first down. Up around the 18-yard line.
Good job of being patient in the pocket by number 17, Mike McMahon. You know, he's trying to hit his primary receiver on the flat. It's not there. Well, he's got a check down. Who's number 5? Gary Fauntleroy. Patience. This is not a pretty football. It's effective. Fauntleroy sits down between the zone. Big first down for Rutgers offense.
Just over the outstretched hand of Matt Sweeney. Back to live action. Jackie Crooks with the carry. Brought down by Morgan again. Clock running, under 8 minutes to go. Gain of 3 on that last play. Morgan, coaching staff said the motor is always on the up switch, the on switch. Does McMahon get time? Outside, gets it to Andy Holland across the 30-yard line. Nice throw, another first down for Rutgers. Delvin Brown makes the play for Miami.
Mike McMahon drops back in the pocket, short drop, his feet are set. When he gets his feet set, good things happen. This looked like a Mike McMahon thrown football. Andy Holland, 9 consecutive games with at least 1 catch.
McMahon now, 7 of 14, 104 yards, 10 yards picked up on that play. Holland with a nice catch, his first of the afternoon. McMahon feet set, got a man down there. And a miscue on the route. Bill Powell, the intended receiver. Mike Rump was there, number 8. As well as Delvin Brown, number 24. A reminder that next week our game of the week will be in Philadelphia. The Mountaineers taking on the Temple Owls. That's a noon start Eastern time. Check your local listings. That's next Saturday. Big East Caravan going to Philadelphia, right down the road from here in Piscataway. 2nd down and 10. Nice effort. Second effort by Jackie Crooks to the 34. Call it the 35-yard line. Under 7 minutes to go. Jackie Crooks out of Union City, California. And let's go down to John Sanders.
Dennis Thomas has not gone back in the lineup yet. They think he can, but right now they're going to work on his ankle a little bit. We thought it was a knee situation, but he's telling the trainer that he's going to need a little more tape around that left ankle before he can get back out there. David?
Thank you, John. 3rd and 6. Pro set look. McMahon flushed. Hangs in, throws, should have been picked off. And might have been 6 to Edward Reed. If he catches it, he's gone because he had a great head of steam. That should have been 6 for Miami.
You know what? If you're Edward Reed, you have to be asking yourself, what could have, would have, and should have been? Talking about a good athlete. Mike McMahon, you know what? There's uncertainty in when he's throwing the football. Uh-oh. We're talking 7 the other way. You talk about a good athlete. Edward Reed, he's part of the University of Miami track team. You know what? He's a javelin thrower. He's part of the 4x100 relay team. Threw the javelin last year.
And now to the receiver downfield on the offense. The penalty would be declined. 4th down.
He threw the javelin last year 194 feet.
Yikes. Scary, isn't it? Terry Shea angry with Billy Powell not coming back to the ball. Barr's 4th punt of the afternoon. Good protection. Ward is back at the 27th. He'll try to get to the sideline. And he does at the 32-yard line. About a 5-yard return on a punt that covered 38 yards. Nick Ward for Miami. Take a timeout here at Rutgers. 6:14 to go. And the Hurricanes have a 6-0 lead. Back here at the birthplace of college football, Rutgers University in Piscataway, New Jersey. And our ESPN Plus spotlight package, Wayne Hampton.
And he's a guy that Dennis Crehan, the defensive coordinator, waiting for a breakthrough game. Good job of staying at home, stops a reverse. He also made a big play on a screen play. Put a big pop on number 36, Nick Williams. Guy's got a lot of talent. Thus far, he's got 2 tackles, and he's broken up 1 pass. The thing that they're really waiting for, to put the heat on the quarterback rushing him.
And you figure with that number 56 in this part of the country means a little bit of something about pass rush.
There was a guy that wore a blue jersey, LT, enough said.
Reese Covington reloads and gets it out. Should have been caught by Santana Moss. Rutgers bench fans saying, hey, Dennis Crehan down there saying, hey, flagging for throwing the ball down. What is that? Got an injured Scarlet Knight on the far side of the field. It is number 19, Gil Ross, as we mentioned, coming back off the sprained toe today. Suffered that sprained toe up at the Carrier Dome in Syracuse. Wes Robertson, number 98, went in to replace him. And let's let's go down to the sidelines. John Sanders has an update for us.
I'll tell you what, they don't need any more injuries, especially to linebackers and defensive backs, because you remember when Terrell Freeney limped off a while ago, he still has not returned except for one punt. And this is something that Rutgers cannot put up with. They're simply not deep enough to absorb any injuries.
Excellent point. You remember after they beat Army last Monday, Terry Shea saw more than about 20 players in the trainer's room getting some kind of treatment. Dante Siciliano in the defensive secondary. Look at Jabari Moore back in the game. There's a young man that's pretty active, and both of them with 4 tackles to this point in the game here at the 6'11" mark.
And that's one of the strangest chin guards I've ever seen. You
Yeah.
see that little red thing under his, I don't know what that is.
It looks like a wrist guard, a wristband. Second down and 10. This Covington roll out. Mike Bell almost had him. Covington stops, throws, and should have been an interception by Wes Robertson. Wes's first play in the game has a ball hit him right in the chest. Check that. It's Tyrone Pitts in the middle. Tyrone Pitts had his chance for an INT out of Woonsocket, Rhode Island. Scarlet Knights trying to figure out if they want to accept that penalty.
Ineligible downfield. On the offense, the penalty will be declined. Third down.
So that sets up a 3rd and long. 3rd and 10 for Butch Davis's Hurricanes. Moss and King. A split to the bottom of your screen. 3 for 6 on 3rd down conversion. Covington with time. Deep ball through the hands of number 6, Moss, and almost picked off. Ben Martin had a chance at it. So did Siciliano, and Rutgers' defense is held. So Miami on offense, the last 4 possessions has gone punt, punt, fumble, and now another punt. And this from a ball club that's a 4-touchdown favorite coming into today's action.
And if you're Rutgers, you're hanging around just close enough that you know you're 1 or 2 big plays away from really turning this thing into a real contest.
Crossland at his own 19. Low snap, nice recovery. Oh, he wailed on this one. Stevens driving back about 15 yards where he drops it and then falls on it at the 20. Punt covered 47 yards by Andy Crossland, and he got that one real well. Rutgers very much in this game, down only 6-0 at home to the Miami Hurricanes. Late stages, second quarter here in Piscataway, New Jersey. Other scores from around college football rolling in. West Virginia, wow, 17-3. We'll see Navy in a couple of weeks at Boston College. Ohio State on the board. leading Penn State. Florida still on top of Alabama. Alabama got crushed last week. Virginia over San Jose State, no score. Florida State and Maryland in the ACC. Wisconsin's tied it up in the Big Ten. A&M over Kansas. And here's Mike McMahon from the 20-yard line. A roll out to get him some time. Penalty flag. McMahon stops, going to bring it back. And that'll do it. He loses about 6 yards on that play, back to the 14-yard line, and I think the penalty's against Rutgers. Gil Ross, linebacker for the Scarlet Knights, sprained ankle, not expected to return, and that penalty is against Rutgers. Got to believe they will waive that one off if you're Miami.
Illegal motion on the offense. The penalty is declined. Second down.
These officials are certainly earning their money. The flag was on number 81, Andy Holland, the wide receiver. And it goes back to that keep it simple. You know, you're standing out there 20 yards from the ball. When the ball moves, you run, okay? It's easy. You don't have to listen to the snap count.
Dennis Thomas back in at running back. Second down at 15. They give it to Thomas. Cut back inside, big yard. It's caught from behind as he crossed the 25-yard line. That'll set up a nice situation. Michael Smith, number 59 on the tackle for Miami. Gain of 13.
The old counter tray, number 76, Pete Donnelly. Good kick-out block. You know what, Dennis Thomas, that ankle's obviously not very sore. Last week against Army, his first career 100-yard game, 120 for the day to be exact, 18 carries. Pete Donnelly I've been very impressed with this afternoon.
Pete playing with an attitude this afternoon. 10 carries, 39 yards for Thomas. Third down and 3 from the 27th. Thomas the carry. He's got the first down and more. Great cut. Great cut. If he had kept his feet, he made that safety miss. Edward Reed, the strong safety, number 20, came up and almost had a complete whiff.
The same play they ran on second down, they run on 3rd and 3. You know, little counter step, the old counter. Number 76, once again, Pete Donnelly. Dennis Thomas feeling good about himself. You can see a little bit of confidence starting to build. The person they need to really break out is number 17, Mike McMahon. He's missed a couple of wide open receivers. And it's kind of funny. He was featured in an NFL Films that presents the next great quarterback from Western Pennsylvania. That area's turned out a few.
Mr. Unitas, Mr. Dawson, Mr. Namath, Mr. Montana. Penalty flag downfield. McMahon, a lot of room to run. Morgan in pursuit. And McMahon breaks it down before Morgan can put a pop on him. Penalty flag, however.
It's thrown in an area where you would expect defensive holding.
On the near side, way downfield after that McMahon 8-yard pickup. You hear the reaction from the Rutgers fans. So it is against the Hurricanes of Miami. Explanation going to Butch Davis.
Holding on the defense, 10-yard penalty, first down.
So first down. Miami's 6th penalty for 55 yards. Rutgers in Miami territory at the 44-yard line. Pump and go. McMahon. Boreal in pursuit. Throws it. Picked off. No, sir. Al Blades had his hands on it at the 43-yard line and couldn't get it. McMahon's down and getting up slowly. And he waves off the training staff.
You know, we talk about decisions with the football. The quarterback touches the ball on every play. Mike McMahon, a poor decision, a late hit by Miami. They continue to be their worst enemy. You know, whether it's penalties, turnovers, this team is self-destructing in the first half.
So a hold and a roughing the passer penalty. have really built this Rutgers drive, which started at its own 20. 7 penalties, 70 yards.
And you add insult to injury. Number 90, Quincy Hips, late hit. A couple things can happen. You can never hit the quarterback to the head. That's one no-no. And stay away from anybody on the sideline.
Here's Thomas. Oh, he got hit immediately. Hit immediately by the left tackle, Matt Sweeney, the junior out of Sussex, New Jersey. They got 6 Jersey kids on this Miami roster.
Matt Sweeney, 6'3", 270-pound junior, a New Jersey native, as you mentioned, criminology major. And what he just did to the running attack to Rutgers was very criminal, wouldn't you think?
Either that or the FBI or CIA guys would be interested in that kind of stop. They like that. Jermaine Robinson in at running back with Jackie Crooks. 2nd down and 12 at the 32. Hutton in motion. Pretty good protection for McMahon. Throws it and intended for Crooks. Led him way too much. And Michael Smith a little upset with himself. We talked about Derek Ham in the open, Jeff, and leads the club with 3.5 sacks. Made his presence felt on that last play.
Number 71. You know, when we talked to Bill Miller yesterday, the defensive coordinator for Miami, Derek Ham is a guy that's really refocused what his priorities are. You know, he's one of the guys that probably wasted a couple years at Miami doing things that don't add to his football prowess. Better focused right now, thus far in 1998, 3.5 sacks.
Rutgers 4 of 8 on 3rd down situations. The rollout, the throw, good for completion. They give it to him, they do. Bill Powell, another big play for Rutgers. And the Scarlet Knights move the sticks, 1st down.
It almost appears to me Mike McMahon throws the ball better on the run than he does setting back in the pocket. You know what? There's a couple reasons. He's on the move. There's no pressure. Look at this ball.
That's
tight spiral. Good job of Powell keeping his feet in bounds.
Powell, 3 catches, 64 yards on the afternoon. He split wide left in this offset I formation. 1st and 10. Thomas the call. Dan Morgan with the stop. Pete Donnelly didn't have a chance. He had 2 guys on him. Great play by Morgan. Michael Burrow there as well.
This is a great example of a running back not being patient with his blockers. You know what? This is a counter. The one thing this has to do, you have to turn it up inside. Get behind Donnelly. Go back inside. And that's exactly what he's being told right now.
James Saxon.
Get behind the block. Don't run it to the outside. It's no good on the perimeter.
James Saxon, pretty good running back with the Kansas City Chiefs, the running back coach. Tosh Riddick in motion. 2nd down, 12. McMahon, flare it out, left side. Jackie Crooks. Everybody and their brother from Miami is there. Penalty flag late, too. This could be an offset. Could be a face mask and then a late hit.
It's going to be a face mask against the Miami defense.
3rd major penalty of this drive. A hold and now a roughing the passer along with this face mask.
The offensive lineman doing a good job. You know what? Get Jackie Crooks in the open field. Watch right there.
5-yard penalty on the defense.
The guilty party is number 7, Al Blades. 6'2", 195-pound sophomore. And the big thing about it, he knows he had the face mask, but when he comes up, he's going, I didn't do it.
Good try at salesmanship, but I don't think it's going anywhere. Extra fullback in the game now, number 40 is Seth Stanton. You saw him in on the fake field goal attempt in the 1st quarter. Powering through is Fauntleroy. Not a lot of room. Delvin Brown helps to bring him down. Pretty good drive here by Rutgers, starting at its own 20. Big East football, and Rutgers putting up a good fight against Miami. Big favorite this afternoon. Dave Sims, Jeff Bostic, and John Sanders with you. Clock running down at 1:32.
And Miami has been certainly just as responsible for this drive as Rutgers.
No question. A hold, a roughing the passer, and a face mask. 3rd and 4 out of the power I. 2 tight ends. McMahon. sets, throws in the end zone, got a man down there, tipped away. Nicely done by Edward Reed, part of the double coverage on Bill Powell. And let's go downstairs to John Sanders right before this field goal attempt.
And we are a minute and 10 seconds away from the National Car Rental halftime report. We'll check out, of course, the #1 team in the country, Ohio State, against Penn State. Let you know what's happening in the Big East with our Big East Wire. And we'll take an up-close look at these outstanding Miami running backs. All of that coming up in just a minute and 10 seconds on the National Car Rental halftime report. David.
All right, thank you, John. Steve Barone for the field goal, 28 yards. He's missed from 48 and 39 yards on the season. They faked from 35 the last time. Barone, they call him Thunderfoot, and he's accurate too. So a nice drive, well aided by several penalties by the Miami Hurricanes. And Barone puts a 3 spot on the board for Rutgers. The best plays, as long as they stay in.
You know what? That's somebody's. Those kids that are running around the stadium, you know, some parents are spending a lot of money for these young men to go to school here, and you have to wonder if you're getting your money's worth.
What do you mean? You didn't do that in your basketball games down at Clemson?
Oh, yeah, I didn't have that much energy.
Butch Davis, tell you what, we played his comments earlier about might his club be looking past Rutgers. I tell you what, the Scarlet Knights have their attention right now, that's for sure. What with Florida State on the schedule next week for Miami.
Butch Davis cannot be happy with the way his team's played, not necessarily their effort. You know, you talk about football, it's effort, but the other part of it is intelligence. They have had a ton of penalties. They've turned the football over. They've looked sloppy. And I'm sure at halftime, as only Butch Davis can probably do, I think when you close that door to go in at halftime, you might want to put the earplugs in.
Yeah, if you're Miami, my goodness, 2 possessions ago, James fumbles at the 3 after another one of his patented second, third, and fourth effort plays. And that very well could have been a 13 or 14-0 lead. Al Blades guilty of the face mask penalty. Here's Lee McDonald and a DeMatha Catholic. It's a low liner. And Jackson picks it up right side and drilled at the 20-yard line. James Jackson on the return for Miami. See Mike Pridgeon running off. He delivered a big blow there. 13 plays, 69 yards over a 4:43 span. First for career field goal for Barone. A 6-3 lead now for Rutgers. Very unproductive stretch here by Miami as Jackson is hit in the backfield. Wes Robertson, number 98, and Wayne Hampton, 56. Nice job. 2-minute drill by the Canes here in the final 46 at Rutgers. Covington throws, got a man on a deep curl. That's Reggie Wayne, and down he goes at the 40. That's a first down for Miami. Ben Martin wraps him up. Number 29, a gain of 18 yards.
Reggie Wayne has been active. The key for this Miami offense, they have got to quit penalizing themselves.
A lot of folks are going to be shocked when they see this score flash up at halftime. And let's revisit with John Sanders.
We have the National Car Rental halftime report coming up. We're going to update what's happening with West Virginia and Navy. We'll have the Big East Wire and, of course, update the latest from that Penn State-Ohio State game. All of that coming up on the National Car Rental halftime report in about 33 football seconds.
For attending today's game.
You know, 33 football seconds can be a long time. That's a lifetime for a lot of people.
No doubt about it. Covington on the afternoon. 12 of 18 passing, 129 yards. Reggie Wayne, 4 catches for 45 yards.
Located in Paramus, Freehold, Springfield, and Totowa, New Jersey.
If you're Miami, what are we looking for down the middle? More deep crossing patterns? Before we answer that, get that answer from Jeff. Join us next Saturday. More exciting Big East action. We'll be in Philadelphia. Amos Zaraway and the West Virginia Mountaineers go to Philly to take on Stacey Mack and those Temple Owls. Don't forget, next Saturday at noon Eastern, it's the Mountaineers and the Owls. Check your local listings.
City of brotherly love.
Figure Mr. Wayne gets some more action here.
I think what Miami wants to do with the football, if they can get it in field goal position, good. Don't get carried away and turn the football over. Safe passes, try and gain some yards, 10 or 15 yards at a clip, and give your field goal kicker an opportunity before the half ends.
Andre King, his first catch of the afternoon.
Andre King is an interesting story. 5 years in Major League Baseball on the minor league level. His education is being funded by a Major League Baseball fund, trust fund.
Good situation.
He must not be able to hit the curveball.
Yeah. But then again, he's probably in a long line there. Here's Covington. Rowland's going to stop, throw. Got a man down the middle of the field. It's broken up by Dante Siciliano. The intended receiver was Santana Moss, and Covington underthrew that because Moss was streaking across the field.
A better throw, and we're looking at a touchdown. Dante Siciliano, the free safety, he's playing center field. Great job of reacting to the football. Good job by the receiver to keep Dante Siciliano from picking that ball off.
If you were with us a couple of weeks ago in Syracuse, this is the same Rutgers club that gave up 70 points, and they're giving Miami everything it can handle here. 22 seconds to go. 2nd and 10, Covington. Got a man down the field. It's Wayne at the 25, out of bounds at the 23. Beat the coverage of Louis Turso. So still plenty of time here left on the clock for Miami with 16 seconds to go.
You know, Larry Coker, the offensive coordinator for Miami, realizes when you look on the left side of that defense, Louis Turso, small, he's 5'8", 180, he's a junior. They're really missing a guy like Garrett Shea. Garrett Shea, Terry Shea's son, unbelievable speed. He ran a 100 meters when he was in high school. They're missing him with a bad ankle.
You saw Andy Crossland warming up in his range. Covington, good protection, get it outside. And that's a good gain close to first down yardage. Andre King wrestled out of bounds by Wes Robertson. The second catch of this drive in the game for Andre King.
And if you're Miami right now, you have to start watching the clock. 10 seconds, you probably get one more opportunity at going downfield. If I'm them, I'm going in the end zone.
This drive started at the 22-yard line, and it's been very impressive by Scott Covington and the Hurricanes. Covington's been impressive on this drive. Had that one underthrow, but anything underneath, he's done a good job on.
Fans, after the Rutgers Tulane football game on October 24th, come to the rack to meet the women's Scarlet Knights basketball team with free admission for all. Meet the Rutgers women's basketball team along with Coach Susie and Stuart.
Been a productive early start to this season for Miami. Impressive in scoring offense, total D, rushing D, and scoring D. Second in the conference.
When you start talking about D's, right now they're number 1 in the league in penalties, okay? And that's what's really hurting this football team offensively. Big turnover by Edrin James down on the 3-yard line. Impressive drive in this 2-minute drill.
How about Covington on this drive? 4 for 5 for 56 yards. And then you look at Rutgers, which has struggled mightily this year. They're last in 11 of 24 categories in the Big East, but holding their own.
Miami may be able to get 2 plays away for one reason. They still got 1 timeout remaining.
Let's see what they can do here. 1st and 10. Here's your current drive. Taking just 27 seconds off. Ball at the 12. Covington looking left. They got a blitz. They throw it in the corner. Got a man there. Touchdown. Santana Moss, his 4th touchdown of the season. 12-yard pass, and that was a beautiful 2-minute drive by Scott Covington, his 9th touchdown pass of the year.
Once again, they're picking on Louis Terso, number 24, the right cornerback. Unbelievable execution in the 2-minute drill. Rutgers decides to come with a blitz. Moss is wide open. Ben Martin is a little bit late on the coverage. Touchdown for Miami.
4 catches for Moss, 47 yards on the drive. Crossland in for the extra point. Santana Moss is a flyer. Got a touchdown on all 4 starts. Somebody got a piece of that extra point, but Crossland was able to bang it through. Miami, over a 1:02 span, went 78 yards to take it home for the touchdown with 5 seconds to go for a 13-3 lead.
Really surprised that Miami chose to go for the extra point as opposed to the 2-point conversion, having missed their first extra point attempt. Santana Moss with the touchdown. He, Reggie Wayne, Darrell Jones, 3 of the wide receivers for Miami, have made a pact. They're not going to cut their hair until Miami wins a bowl game.
Well, got to get to a bowl game first, right?
You know, you talk about the field goal and extra point operation. It's a 3-way deal. The center snapping the football.
Pat Del Vecchio.
Obviously the holder, Popovich, and then the kicker. Clean operation, good kick.
Tack up point on the board.
I don't know how these guys have the ability with the hand-eye coordination to catch the ball, put it down, and spin it.
I've always been, amazed at that. I mean,
I can't even catch it.
It's not one of the skills that's going to provide world peace, but it's very interesting how they do that.
And I played with some guys. I was a snapper on field goals and extra points, and the best I ever saw, Joe Theismann. Unbelievable hands.
Yeah, he's got great hands, no doubt about it.
Joe just had a birthday.
And I'm sure he'd be real happy to hear you announcing it right now.
I'm not going to tell you the number, but he had a birthday about 3 weeks ago.
Here's Severs for the kick. And they got into it pretty good down to the 10. And a return by Rutgers number 2, Jermaine Robinson. And that'll do it for the first half. But an impressive final 2-minute drive by the Hurricanes of Miami. They take a 6-3 lead and expand on it to go to halftime up by the count of 13-3. Certainly Rutgers had its opportunities to get in there and make some plays. Standing by right now, John Sanders with Miami coach Butch Davis.
Butch, that last-minute drive gave you a little cushion at halftime, but I know you've got to be unhappy about some of the mistakes and the penalties in the first half.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we have played ridiculously sloppy in the first half, and it's very disappointing. We responded well in the last minute. Defense has done some good things. We haven't capitalized on some great field position and turnovers. We're going to have to play a hell of a lot better this second half.
Has anything that the Scarlet Knights done surprised you today?
We're playing real good. Nothing at all. They are a good football team, got some good skilled guys, and they're making plays.
All right, Butch Davis joining us at halftime. The National Car Rental halftime report is coming up. We'll have that for you when we continue with halftime on our Big East Game of the Week from Rutgers Stadium, with Miami leading Rutgers 13-3.
Miami, average drive started for Butch Davis and company at the 34-yard line. Conversely, for Rutgers, their average starting point, the 16. Boy, does it make a difference.
And I'd be willing to bet that Paul Hilton Davis, a.k.a. Butch Davis, held a sermon at halftime. His football team was very sloppy, turned the ball over. The penalties were probably the biggest thing.
Sure, and I'm sure it was not a responsive reading either. It was,
no, it wasn't.
It was all one-sided.
It was, I speak, you listen.
Todd Severs has it teed up. Jermaine Robinson on your right. Tosh Riddick on the left. And second half is underway. Sidewinding kick. And they let it go through the end zone, touchback, and Rutgers will put it in play from its own 20. First half stats. Passing yardage, Rutgers with 122, a $188 for Miami. The penalty numbers, big, and they were costly for Miami.
That's a big number with penalties, but really it cannot tell the story of this game. It backed the Miami offense up several times. It extended the Rutgers drives on offense. Very sloppy first half by Miami.
Fauntleroy and Thomas in the backfield behind Mike McMahon. Rutgers opens with the run. Thomas cut back into pursuit. Like he had more of a hole to the right. Nate Webster, number 52, was the tackler. First half leaders. Covington got a lot of that late. McMahon just 9 of 21 for $122. Reggie Wayne strong. 5 catches. Same with Santana Moss. Moss had 2 catches for 23 yards in that final drive of the second quarter. Just a gain of 1. We look at Dan Morgan, number 44. Man gonna throw. Slant pattern's been there all day. Great catch. And again, it was Bill Powell, covered by Mike Rump. That's been the most successful pass play this afternoon for McMahon. An 11-yard pickup. First down for Rutgers.
And I'm not sure you can cover him any better than Mike Rump does. Bill Powell has proven he is the go-to wide receiver right now. When you talk about the Rutgers offense, there's one thing that keeps coming up during the course of this game. Bad field position.
4 catches, 74 yards for Bill Powell. From the 32-yard line, a 1st and 10. Spots play, loose ball. Let's see who's got it. Miami has recovered. Boy, you talk about shooting yourself in both feet.
Watch Mike McMahon. Never gets the ball. And you know what? There are a lot of bodies flying around there. McMahon realizes what has happened. Looks like number 44, Dan Morgan, the standout linebacker for Miami, recovers his football. Coaches will tell you the first 5 minutes of the half, huge. When this Miami went in with momentum, having scored the last couple of minutes of the half. This is not the way Rutgers wanted to start the second half.
Maybe a quick strike right here by Miami. Second fumble. Edgerrin James slipped. Boy, he took up a big dividend. Got to 31. Advanced the ball to the 28. Ben Martin, number 29, with the stop for Rutgers. Let's look at Ben.
His dad was a great football player with the New York Giants and probably a better person.
No question. Outstanding family.
I went to England, went to London with George Martin back in the mid-'80s.
2nd and 7, rollout. Covington going for it all. Got a man there. Touchdown, Miami. Miami on the board. Santana Moss, a 28-yard reception from Scott Covington. He smoked Reggie Stevens on that play.
Santana Moss with breakaway speed. He picks on probably the best cornerback, the senior Reggie Stevens. Scott Covington delivers a strike. Miami is proving if you make mistakes, if you turn the football over, we'll make you pay.
Second TD catch by Moss. Crossland for the extra point. Knocks it through cleanly. And Miami, the last 2 times it's touched the balls and put touchdowns on the board. And real early here in the third quarter, just a minute 50 in, Miami's opened up a 20-3 lead here at Rutgers. Touchdown pass, the 5th of the season, 2nd of the day by Santana Moss.
Now on pay-per-view, $500,000 in cash is up for grabs.
Booyah.
And it's anyone's game.
Here we go.
Rolling Stone magazine calls Jackie Brown a knockout. Pam Grier, Samuel L. Jackson, Robert Forster, Bridget Fonda, Michael Keaton, and Robert De Niro, Quentin Tarantino's Jackie Brown. Now on pay-per-view, rated R. Soundtrack available on a Band Apart Maverick Records.
Tomorrow night on Sunday Night Football, the Seattle Seahawks are at Arrowhead Stadium to face the Kansas City Chiefs. Sunday Night Football begins at 8:15 Eastern on ESPN. Then on Monday Night Football, it's an NFC Central showdown. The Minnesota Vikings take on the Green Bay Packers at historic Lambeau Field. It all starts at 8 Eastern, Monday Night Football on ABC.
Welcome back, everybody. Miami with a 20-3 lead as we start the third quarter. Rutgers turned it over, and it took 2 plays for Miami to make them pay. Santana Moss's second TD pass today from Covington, 5th of the season. And how about Covington? 10 TD passes, just 1 interception, and Terry Shea wondering when his offense is going to start to click.
And Santana Moss just took the lead on the Miami offense for TD receptions.
Ball taken at the 21-yard line by a backup linebacker for Rutgers. That's Tyrone Pitts.
Tackled by Wilfred Valdez.
So the field position not too bad for Rutgers, but now they have to do something with it. And I tell you what, that is winning football right there. High percentage, making opponents pay for mistakes.
And you're looking at a critical drive for Rutgers, a team that's been in this football game all afternoon. Right before the half, they gave up a touchdown and obviously turning it over here early in the third quarter. Their offense has to get something going that takes it into the end zone.
Best start of the afternoon for Rutgers from the 23. McMahon on the run, going to take it down. And I tell you what, look at that closing speed by Michael Smith, the junior from Riviera Beach, Florida. McMahon looked like he might have been able to pick up 5 yards. He was lucky to get back to the line of scrimmage. Matter of fact, he lost a couple of yards on that play. Talk about some speed.
And that's the type of defense as Butch Davis, whether he was at Dallas earlier here when he was a defensive coordinator with Jimmy Johnson. All of his defenses have been really built around kind of small, defensive linemen. And you look at it, they've got a very small defensive line by today's standards. Small linebackers that can run. When you talk about a Butch Davis defense, it's a team that can run.
3-yard loss. Set up the screen, and Morgan was there to break it up. Jackie Crooks, the intended receiver, and Morgan, tell you what, he was laying in wait. Let's go to John Sanders.
You know, one of the problems the defense is having right now for Rutgers are those injuries that we talked about. Number 8 is not going to play today. That's the coach's shun. Garrett Shea, he's out with a high ankle sprain. They've lost Gil Ross. Gil Ross's backup is out of the ballgame. Terrell Freeney, Alan Davis, both have shoulder problems. And as I said a while ago, they don't have the depth to overcome those kinds of injuries. And right now, they're all in the secondary.
And Garrett Shea looks like, to me, my favorite Martian, right?
Rutgers, 3rd and 13, or 50% today. McMahon busted play, and he pays for it again. Quincy Hips, number 90, broke it up. McMahon lucky to get out alive.
Tackled by Matt Sweeney.
So that was quick. Started at their own 23 and backed up. Other scores. Navy still holding off West Virginia. And Ohio State opening up.
Michael Barr to pull.
Alabama on the board, but still trailing. Here's Michael Barr. Miami gone for the return. Nick Ward at the 33. Return to the right. Picked up the wall. He got hit. Big time. Dax Strohmeyer. Check that. Terrell Feeney laid one on him. Penalty flags. Upfield and downfield. A 47-yard punt.
Once again, Miami has been their own worst enemy. It's going to be a holding penalty on the return. It's going to back the Miami offense up further.
So instead of having the ball at the 46, back it up. Boy, so many penalties today.
Holding during the run back by the receiving team. 10-yard penalty from the end of the run. First down.
8 penalties, 84 yards for Miami. Other scores, a good-looking Virginia club up by 10. Florida State, Miami's opponents next week. Wisconsin still on the short end. A&M up on Kansas. And Missouri and Northwestern State early on. In the Show Me State, good look at Aaron Brady. Edgerrin James stops, starts, nice game. Penalty flag on this one. Where does it end? Mike Bell, 94 with the stop. And Miami marching backwards again.
I wonder how many miles a guy like Butch Davis will walk during the course of the game. Look, he's always walking. He's not the type of coach that stands.
Holding on the offense. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Repeat the down.
If his team continues to penalize themselves the way they have this afternoon, he'd probably like to dig a hole and get in it.
And maybe throw his offensive unit in. That's 9 penalties, 94 yards for Miami. And they still, though, enjoy the luxury of a 20-3 lead and try to get it back with a big gobble. Moss is there. Moss is there. If he stands in, he could go. 10-5, touchdown Miami. And they did get it back in one gobble, 71 yards. He beat Dwayne Thompson. Third TD pass, Covington to Moss today.
Scott Covington with the terrific long pass. Santana Moss, breakaway speed.
What a combination.
And you know, the secondary for Rutgers is beat up. Number 21, Dwayne Thompson, a freshman, out there covering a guy that probably runs. Good job of tight roping. His left foot's awfully close to that line. But you know, big play receivers, they possess one thing: speed.
Brosnan's extra point is good. And Miami, 3 straight scores, and they have been impressive. Moss from 12 yards, Moss from 28, and Moss from 71 yards. 11:07 to go, third period here at Piscataway. And Miami has really put the hammer down, and they now lead 27-3 over Rutgers. Welcome, everybody, to the Santana Moss Show. 3 touchdown catches, and that equals a Miami best. Tony Gator did it against Pitt in 96. Lamar Thomas did it in 90 against Texas Tech, and he is putting up some numbers. Here's the kickoff by Sievers. And Tosh Riddick will take it, and he's going to bring it out. Oh, my goodness. 10-yard line. Outside, 14-yard line. Not a good decision.
Tosh Riddick on the return.
Not a good decision. Lost 6 yards on that.
And you talk about Santana Moss. He is a guy that came into this game with only 7 catches for the year, but 3 touchdowns. This afternoon, you might ask, what has he done? 6 catches, 146 yards, 3 touchdowns. And we talked about the quick strike Miami offense. 3 scores in about 5 minutes of game time.
And actual playing time, 3 scores at $1:59.
That's quick.
Oh,
that's
man.
quick.
3 scores in that quick a time. Rutgers in a deep hole now. Man's got to complete some passes. They roll him out. Can't square his shoulders, and down he goes. And that's speed by Miami. Talking about it coming in, Derek Ham chased him down all the way across the field.
And this is a situation where you really don't want a sophomore quarterback having to get into a shooting match with a team like Miami for one reason. Defensively, Miami is so quick from sideline to sideline, and now you're forced in a situation. You need to throw probably 3 out of the next 4 plays. You need to continue to throw to try and gain big chunks of yardage. The big key is Mike McMahon smart with the football, and can he avoid the turnover?
2nd down 9 up the middle. Good run by Jackie Crooks. Trying to make something happen. Got another penalty flag down. Actually, that was a ball marker by one of the officials. And here's a look at Dan Morgan. He's our ESPN Plus Spotlight player here in the second half. He's been outstanding all year. 6-game streak of at least 15 tackles. We'll update you on his tackle count as we proceed. Rutgers 3rd and 6. They're 5 of 11 on 3rd down. McMahon in trouble. McMahon throws. Got a man. Robinson at 25, and he's punished. I mean, just eliminated that. 4 people got him. Nick Ward was first. Nate Webster got a piece. Morgan was there as well. And 97, Michael Lawson. And so you say you want to play some football, huh? Listen to this. You hear the reacts.
Even the guys on the sideline, you know, there's nothing like the special effects, because, you know, the guys that are sitting right there, I could hear the helmets clash up here. I don't know what it sounded like on the sideline. Whoa.
That was paying a price there. Good for a 1st down.
And a headache.
You're in line. Andy Holland with the catch. 31-yard line, and he gets walloped. Nate Webster, Michael Smith. Terrific linebacker duo. Webster, a sophomore from Miami's Northwestern High School, and Smith, a junior from Riviera Beach, Florida, went to Suncoast High School.
You know, when you look back at this game, Dave, Bill Miller yesterday, the defensive coordinator, we asked him from Miami, said, does it hurt your football team having laid off last week with the hurricane down and they missed the UCLA game? He said, I think our kids are so young. That touchdown right before the half for Miami was huge.
Yes, it was. Thomas hitting the backfield. That play looked like it was going somewhere. Michael Lawson shut it down. 97. Good play. And again, just what Terry Shea and the defensive coaches, the offensive coaches were concerned about. If you have something, then it's gone. Some kind of quickness. Lawson, a senior out of Delray Beach, Florida.
And Lawson beats the back, we'll call it an off block by the center, Mike DeLucia. Team speed. It's like a car wreck, Dave. Speed kills.
Yes, it does. 3rd and 6. Josh Riddick, top of the screen with Andy Holland. Powell at the bottom. Looking for Powell. Got him on a slant to the 42-yard line. That's good for a 1st down.
Pass complete to Billy Powell.
Delvin Brown with the stop.
Back by Delvin Brown.
Powell having another big day for Rutgers. He is the main pass threat. 5 catches, 86 yards for Bill Powell.
I think the key for Mike McMahon is keep it simple. When he starts getting beyond the 3-step drop, when he starts a 7-step drop, he gets a little bit antsy in the pocket. You see his feet bouncing around. Quick drop, quick throw. He gets set. He delivers a good ball.
Need a score here. And when we talk score, we're talking touchdown. Got time. Deep ball, left side. Riddick. Nice catch. Can he stay on his feet? He got a block to the 5. Touchdown, Rutgers. Great block by Andy Holland. Fabulous throw and catch. McMahon to Tosh Riddick for 58 yards. And boy, did Rutgers need that.
Now that we're into baseball season big time with the playoffs, Riddick reacts like an outfielder. The ball is hit up into the air. Guess what? I'm going to get under it. He's isolated man-to-man on the corner. McMahon had great protection. You see Riddick right there adjusting to the ball while it's in the air.
Well done.
Picks up a block by number 81, Andy Holland. Just what this Rutgers offense needed was a touchdown.
Point after is good. So Rutgers strikes back. Showing some life here. 7:20 to go, third quarter. Miami 27, Rutgers 10. As Mike McMahon gets his second TD pass of the season. A beauty to Tosh Riddick. We'll be back with more right after this. So Tosh Riddick on his second catch of the season, first of the day, and his first touchdown of the season. 27-10, Miami over Rutgers.
And it looks like Mr. Riddick would fit in with the Miami receiving corps with that hair. What do you think?
That's right. Feel right at home. Key play, third down conversion. McMahon to Powell really upset that one up. Powell's up to 6 catches on the day. And talk about a ball club, a program that needed that score. Longest pass completion of McMahon's career. Think an onside kick here, maybe?
I think Miami's ready for it. If you look across that front 5, they seem very poised for the onside. They're not going to be taken by surprise.
He had a lot of good hands people up front. They do boom it deep. Jackson at the 2, 10, 20, and a block to the 31-yard line. Nice return. Jackson, nice job. As we tell you that the Big East Caravan is in Piscataway, New Jersey. Dave Sims, Jeff Bostic, John Sanders with you. And let's see what Miami comes back with. They have been able to exploit the secondary of Rutgers, and this is not good news. The little guy, Lou Terso, contusion right knee. He might return. He was burned on that last possession by Miami. That pass intended for Wayne went right through his hands. And there are no do-overs on that play. Tell you what, he was wide open.
And the Rutgers secondary, you spoke of it earlier, Dave. They were already thin. Garrett Shea out with a sprained ankle. Terso's out now with contusion to his knee. Now they've got number 27, Robert Crenshaw, a freshman, over here covering Santana Moss. You're talking about a little bit of nerves.
Here's Covington, who's had a high percentage of completion today. Adrian James cut back into the secondary to the 40. He stays on his feet beautifully. Reggie Stevens slowed him up. Mike Bell got a piece, but Adrian James showing me something today. 13 yards. Outstanding running back for the Hurricanes.
And this was a play that Dennis Crean, the defensive coordinator from Rutgers, was worried about. The stretch zone. Looks like it's going outside. The running back cuts it back. And you know what? When you got a guy like Adrian James, running backs have great vision. He cuts back across the game. You know what? Big 12 or 13 yard gain.
James, 12 carries, 70 yards. Going for more right here. It's going to get him into the triple figures. It may get him on the scoring column. Sideline to the 10-yard line, to the 8-yard line, before finally being brought down by Reggie Stevens. Big play. Dwayne Thompson there as well, but Adrian James over the 100-yard mark. 49 yards on the carry.
Since the half, Miami is a different football team. Very crisp up front, the offensive line blocking. Adrian James brought down by number 9, Reggie Stevens, who seems to be hurt on this play. I think, though, if you look at this game, the 2-minute drive just before the half was the key for turning this Miami team around.
Robert Crenshaw, number 27, helped Stevens on that play. And this is not a good sign as Stevens comes off the field. Looks like he'll be all right. We've been talking about depleted secondary. And how about the Mountaineers have come back in Annapolis? 24-all. We'll see the Mountaineers next week at Philadelphia. Ohio State pouring it on Penn State. Alabama still alive, only down by 3 now to Florida. Virginia cruising. And Florida State holding off Maryland. Wisconsin trying to get back into it against Indiana. A&M over Kansas still. That's in the third quarter. And that is a surprise. No score. Number 21, Missouri.
That'd be a big win for Indiana's Cam Cameron.
Sure would. So after Rutgers goes deep, 58-yard TD pass, here's the Miami response. There's been a good one. James, student body right. He's in for a touchdown. Adrian James, boy, they got everybody out on the edge that time. Nick Williams threw a good block. Mercier with a good block. And Miami made it look real easy.
There was nothing fancy about this drive. Give it to number 5, Adrian James. Good job up front by his offensive line. You see the center, number 64, Ty Wise, pulling around that corner. The big man finds the pylon and sticks it in the end zone.
7 yards on the TD run by Adrian James, his 3rd touchdown of the season. Crossland, extra point is good. So the Miami offense is untracked, to say the least. 6:08 to go, 3rd period. And Miami, that's pretty good for Adrian James, 5th all-time in Miami. And he's more than made up for that fumble he had in the second quarter. 7-yard runs by Adrian James, 14 carries, 126 yards. He's got 2 TDs all the afternoon. Don't forget, join us next Saturday for more exciting Big East action when Amos Zaraway and the West Virginia Mountaineers travel to Philadelphia. They'll battle Stacy Mack and the Temple Owls. Don't forget, Saturday, noon Eastern time, Mountaineers and the Owls. Check your local listings. Ty Wise, the center. Well, you know he's feeling good because they gotten everything they want up front. You like that look?
He's got some guns on him, doesn't he? They said he's the strongest guy on the team. Anybody that goes around pushing a pickup truck, you have to wonder about that mental stability, though.
4 plays, 69 yards for Miami. They kick it short again. One of the upbacks, and down he goes. Tyrone Pitts again. Lewis with the tackle. 34-10 Miami. Let's go to the sidelines and John Sanders.
You look at Tosh Riddick right there as he joins the huddle. This is a guy that was recruited as a running back, an outstanding running back, but because of all the injuries they had preseason to the wide receivers, he has joined that receiving corps. Also quarterback Purvis Verduzco, whose cousin is one of the assistant coaches, has also moved from quarterback to wide receiver to try to help out. Dave?
All right, thank you, John. From the 30 comes Rutgers. McMahon swings it outside. Drawing a crowd is Jackie Crooks. Michael Burrow, the junior, left in to tackle. Another penalty flag. This time it's against Rutgers.
And I think they've got number 66, Sean O'Hara, for holding. Anytime that an offensive lineman is arguing with an official,
not a good sign.
You know it's holding.
On the offense, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Repeat the down.
All you can do is shake your, every now and then offensive linemen, their hands just get caught up in somebody's jersey.
Sure, okay, all right, whatever you say.
Sounded good.
A noble effort. Terry Shea has got to be wondering, what does he have to do to get this thing going? 34-10 Miami. Here's Holland in motion. Inside handoff, Crooks. Solid gain across the 20 to about the 22-yard line. Rod Mack, 51, with the stop for Miami. A lot of second-teamers getting an opportunity to play. Rod Mack, a junior out of Miami's Monsignor Pace High School. Chevin Marshall's playing middle linebacker, number 41. Second down and long. Second down at 17 for the 23. McMahon got to run a screen, throws it, and makes Robinson pay for it. I am still amazed by the lightning speed of Michael Burrow. Any of that kind of delay stuff is not fooling him at all. Leonard Myers covering on the play, number 22.
I'm amazed that any of the, you look at the entire Miami defensive package. It's all built around one thing, being athletic.
Yep.
Whether it's a defensive lineman, and they don't have a defensive lineman that weighs over 280, and a lot of people at home are saying, well, 280 is pretty big. By today's standards, that's very small. Their linebacking corps, basically 220, 225 pounds, but all of them can run.
3rd and 17. 15 of 29 as McMahon throwing the ball. Underneath handoff, the old shovel pass made famous in Utah years ago, so that's an incomplete pass to Jackie Crooks. The shovel pass doesn't even work.
And as often as you see this play, people are always of the impression it's a fumble. That is a forward pass. It's an ugly forward pass, a little shovel pass. When effective, when caught by the running back, can be a big gainer.
Years ago, Lee Grosscup made that famous.
You're starting to date yourself there.
You betcha. No question. Bauer, 5th punt today, averaging just under 39 a punt. Good spiraling job here. Ward at the 35. Return dead up the middle. 50, good tackle. Number 51 lays a lick on him. Good tackle by Jack Bloom, a sophomore defensive end from Toms River South. Good form tackle, 42 yards on the punt.
Mr. Bloom is blooming into a very good special teamer. Young kids at home, if you want to see a form tackle, watch the middle of your screen. Boom.
Breaks it down and decleats him.
That's what we call one of those pancakes. The first thing that hits is the back of his head. Watching your screen, right there. Watch the head.
Hit and wrap.
First thing to hit was the head. That's a pancake.
Back to live action. James Jackson running right side. Picks up a couple. Aaron Brady knocks him down. They got 2nd down now. And long.
I am really surprised we have not seen Davenport.
Jay Davenport, number 4. Here's Covington throwing again. Blitz. Throws it right side. Jackson's got it. Dak Strohmeyer collars him, brings him out of bounds.
Tackled by Dak Strohmeyer.
And an explosive third quarter, Miami with 3 touchdowns. McMahon hit Riddick for a Rutgers TD, 34-10. Under 4 minutes to play here in the third.
And I bet if you ask Butch Davis, the fact that they missed the game last week against UCLA has really affected this team. I'm just now seeing them get into some kind of rhythm.
Sure enough, rhythm's been terrific here in the second half. Good pass protection, good throw. The catch is made by Andre King. His forward advancement, they're going to credit him to the 36-yard line. Robert Crenshaw, freshman from Syracuse Henninger High School, number 27 on the stop.
And you wonder what brings a guy like Andre King back to football after playing baseball on the minor league level for 5 years. He's a walk-on wide receiver.
Loves to play. King goes wide to the right with Santana Mosses, who get a look from the backfield. First and 10. Covington checks off. And that's going to be a delay.
That ball, delay the game. On the offense, 5-yard penalty from the line of scrimmage. Repeat the down.
Covington saw something he liked, was checking off, but they couldn't beat the clock.
You know something we haven't mentioned today? Miami reshuffling their offensive line, putting Hall at left tackle, moving Neely to right guard, shuffling it up after the last game against Virginia Tech. They've been very effective up front.
Covington got time. They picked up the blitz, got all day, throws underneath. And that's Mondrell Fulcher. He gets drilled at the 30. Aaron Brady and Crenshaw were there for Rutgers. So the underneath stuff worked on that play.
It starts with protection, and when you look at Scott Covington, the one thing that's very apparent, his jersey is not dirty. You look how clean that jersey is, and especially on the back. That's where quarterbacks normally get them dirty, the back. All day to throw the football, missed tackle. Aaron Brady's going to wrap this one up. Watch right there. Almost a penalty for going to the head.
Second and short, Jackson. Eludes a couple of tackles. Last guy can't get away from Wes Robertson, number 98.
And the coaches talk about Wes Robertson special teams. I like the way he plays defense.
Done a nice job since he came in for Gil Ross. Ross went down with a leg injury.
I don't quite understand what that is on the back of his shoulder pads. It almost looks like a backboard.
Yeah.
Look at that thing. If your head gets snapped back that far, it may come off.
Yeah, who's it? Brian Cox wears something, but not. That is, you're right. That is well far back. Third down and 7 from the 33, and that play's going to be whistled dead.
We've got a legal procedure. I've just started bragging about the offensive line. The left tackle, Robert Hall. He's a little bit antsy. He wanted to get an early start, so he jumps off sides. And when you talk about Robert Hall.
Full start on the offense. 5-yard penalty from the line of scrimmage. Repeat the down.
No clothing jokes here now.
And when you talk about Hall and Neely, the right guard, these two guys were defensive tackles. It's amazing to me week in, week out when we go around the country doing these Big East games, how many offensive linemen are now converting from the defensive side, which tells me the better athletes are playing defensive line.
Give you a breakdown of the pass receivers for Miami in a second. Third down 12, Covington. Time, steps up, delivers low. Boy, had his man wide open. Wayne was there inside the 25. Wayne's caught 5 passes for 71 yards. Moss 6 for $146. James 3 for 45. King's got 3 catches for 31. And Fulcher 3 for 15. In other words, Covington's having a heck of a day.
And when we talked to Larry Coker yesterday, he said we need to spread the ball around more.
Done a good job.
You know, job 1 accomplished.
That's it. 5 receivers as Crossland had a great pooch punt in the first half. Is he duplicated? Wow, they're going to give it to him at the 4-yard line. Marvelous performance by Andy Crossland. Second time he's buried Rutgers with a coffin corner kick. That's a 34-yarder. West Virginia has come from behind to take the lead at Navy. And Ohio State, a lot of happy people Not in Happy Valley, but in Columbus, Florida over Alabama. Alabama got waxed last week by Arkansas. Virginia leading, Florida State holding on at halftime against Maryland. And Wisconsin has finally taken the lead against Indiana, and A&M for Kansas. No score out in Missouri. Stanford Notre Dame just underway. Horrible field position here for Rutgers at the 4. Play action, McMahon steps, throws, got a man. It's Bill Powell again on a big play to the 27-yard line, a gain of 23. Leonard Myers with the stop. Well, Bill Powell's getting open.
When you talk about Mike McMahon, there's one thing that pops up every time you watch the guy, and it's inconsistency. Sometimes his drops look clean. Watch his feet. They're set pretty well. Guess what? He throws a good football. Bill Powell had a huge day, beats Leonard Myers. Mike McMahon, the one word he needs to look for is consistency.
Bill Powell, 6 catches, 109 yards. McMahon to throw again. Steps, got a man there. Tosh Riddick. Riddick beats a tackle to the 50, gets a block to the 40 and out of bounds at the 38-yard line. First down, Rutgers. So it looks like Rutgers has found somebody, and Tosh Riddick, Delvin Brown with the catch, a 35-yard pickup. Second catch of the day by Riddick.
I think you hit it on the head, Dave. Riddick has found a home at wide receiver. Not afraid to go across the middle. He almost picks up a key block right there by Bill Powell, just a little bit late. Riddick has been a spark for this offense in the second half.
2 catches, 93 yards for the freshman from Allentown's Deerfield High School. 5'10", 195. Here's McMahon on a 1st and 10, final 49 seconds. And guess what? Mr. Webster, number 52, is back in the game, along with Mr. Morgan, number 44.
And the Miami front 7 defensively, they had a team meeting at the football that play.
Yes, they did.
Every helmet was at the ball.
Thomas goes out for Rutgers. They'll go with Jackie Crooks in the backfield. There's your McMahon numbers.
And those numbers could be better. He has missed some open receivers.
Yes, he has. 2nd down and 12. Throws underneath. It's picked off. Al Blades. He's going to go the distance. Blades. Touchdown, Miami. 61 yards on the interception return by Al Blades. And that may have taken a final gasp out of Rutgers here. Last play of the 3rd quarter.
We talked about Mike McMahon. We talked about his numbers could be better. Poor decision with the football. The ball is thrown late. Al Blades steps in front of it, picks it off, goes 61 yards. And you know what? The bad thing if you're Mike McMahon, when you throw an interception, you have to cover it. Number 98, Matt Sweeney, was putting some Rydell to Mr. McMahon as he covered that interception.
That is a defender's delight. Look for the QB, somebody with a number 19 or lower. After a pick, 60 yards on the interception return. Crossland's point after is good. So I think the talking to that the Hurricanes got at halftime has paid off major dividends. What a 3rd quarter. 41-10, Miami over Rutgers. We're back in a moment. Well, Al Blades had a costly face mask penalty earlier in the game, but boy, did he make up for it here. Last play, third quarter, takes it 60 yards on an interception return for a touchdown. And Miami puts up 28 points in the third quarter as we start quarter number 4 here. And the Canes up 41-10. Here's Severs. His short kick. Tyrone Pitts getting a lot of action here. Takes it at the 22, and down he goes at the 30. Got a penalty flag. And we'll see what that is all about. And the penalties against Rutgers. So instead of their 30-yard line, they'll back it up. A lot of stars in this game today.
Illegal push in the back during the run back on the receiving team. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
And we have seen the last of Mike McMahon for the day. Brendan Edmonds is in the game, a senior from Davis, California. And he is 0 for 3 on the season in limited action in 2 games. And Miami calls a timeout. So we'll take a timeout and return to action here for fourth quarter play. Butch Davis's club, big third quarter with 4 touchdowns. Welcome back, everybody. Miami has exploded. This was a 6-3 game late in the first half, and now 41-10. John Sanders, what do you have?
Well, you look at Butch Davis and his ball club. You like their chances in the fourth quarter. As a matter of fact, since '85, they've only lost one time when they led the ball game going to the fourth quarter. It was not against Florida, not against Florida State. It was last year. They lost to West Virginia.
All right, thank you, John. As Thomas breaks outside and run down quickly by that Miami speed. It looked like he was going some places. Michael Lawson, the senior out of Delray Beach, Florida, with the stop.
That's an amazing stat since 1985.
Sure is.
You're talking about teams that have the ability, you know, to close the deal. That's what it's all about, closing the deal.
Ask Butch Davis, get an idea what he said. 2nd down and 1, what he said at halftime. I'm sure a lot of coaches would maybe want to make a copy of that. Talk about a wake-up call. Thomas trying to get to the outside and does. Good running room. Cuts inside, stumbles down, picks up a first down to the 48.
And for Rutgers, this is when you're going to find out about your football team. Terry Shea, the head coach, you know, they're going to be watching this tape. Obviously, the score has gotten out of hand, a 31-point lead for Miami. They're going to be watching the offensive linemen. They're going to be watching the running backs, wide receivers. You don't want to see your team quit. And thus far, Terry Shea and this Rutgers squad, you know, the third quarter Miami was huge.
Sure was. 20 yards on that carry by Thomas. He's 17 carries now for 67 yards. And And Edmonds, here's the reverse. Verduzco can throw it. He's got a man wide open down the sideline. Jermaine Robinson, broken up. Edward Reed, the strong safety, came back, and almost like Miami sort of expected that play. They certainly reacted well to it. Paris Verduzco, quarterback in his high school days at Antioch, California, came here as a quarterback, but because of injuries to the wide receiver corps, volunteered to be a backup wideout for the Scarlet Knights.
And the one thing about this pass, too much air time. And when you've got a guy like Ed Reed, guy that's a member of the track team, he can close ground.
That he did. Robinson in motion. Thomas gets the carry. Cut it up. Gain of 5 on that play. Some of the numbers here. McMahon is done for the day. The Rutgers starting quarterback, 17 for 33 passing, 275 yards, 1 touchdown and 1 interception. The brighter stars on the afternoon by far, Miami. Scott Covington, 21 of 30, 312 yards, 3 touches, no picks. So that's 11 touchdowns and 1 interception on the season for Scott Covington. Adrian James hasn't been too shabby either. 15 carries, $129 and 2 touchdowns.
We haven't even mentioned Santana Moss.
That's exactly right. Here's Edmonds running for his life. And he goes for a ride. Rod Mack brought him down, 51. You're mentioning Mr. Moss. How about 6 catches, 146 yards, and 3, count them 3 touchdowns.
And if Brendan Edmonds continues to want to run the football like this, we may see McMahon again.
Let's look at Mr. Moss. So the Mountaineers, they also got a wake-up call second half. Ohio State, they've been dying to get a piece of Penn State, and they have them. Virginia big on San Jose State. 1st and 10 for Edmonds. Steps, got a man down there. Deep ball well overthrown. Hutton had cut his pattern off in the middle, and Holland was, number 81, was nowhere near where the ball landed. Edmonds, 3 starts last year, played in 9 games, completed 52% of his passes, finishing 8th in the Big East. Big East football, everybody. Miami and Rutgers. Been a big 3rd quarter for the Hurricanes. I'm Dave Sims with Jeff Bostic and John Sanders. The Miami Hurricanes, 13-3 halftime lead. They just went crazy in the 3rd quarter. 28 points. Brooks going to get outside. No, he doesn't. There's that word again, speed. Rod Mack, junior out of Monsignor Pace in Miami. Florida State, the Seminoles will take on the Hurricanes next week. That's in Miami. Wisconsin by 4 at Indiana. Texas A&M only by a field goal over Kansas. Notre Dame. Fighting Irish leads Stanford. Stanford's had a struggle most of this year. New running back for Rutgers. Jason O'Heen is there. Chevin Marshall brings him down, number 41. Jason O'Heen, we saw him late in the game up at Syracuse a couple of weeks ago. 6-foot sophomore out of Farmingdale, New York. O'Heen on the season, prior to that carry, had run for 15 yards. Long afternoon for Rutgers. They had such a promising showing last week. Quarterback draw, and Edmonds runs it well. Oh, he took a pop and was able to stay on his feet, but that was a knockout blow. And looks like Leonard Myers, like he took the worst of that. 10 yards on the carry by Edmonds. Edmonds is 6'2", 210.
And you know what? He's smiling right now. I have to wonder what this kid makes in school, his grade point average. He's got the first down right here. Get on the ground. You know, these guys, this is like setting up ducks and shooting, okay? The quarterback's running. These guys are teeing off.
Delvin Brown and Leonard Myers came up for the hit. First down, Rutgers. Off at 22. O'Heen Caught from behind, backside pursuit. Clint Hurt, sophomore out of Rochester, New York, with the Milford Academy. Those numbers are extraordinarily impressive. They put it up, it's considered done. Lights out. Got to feel great for the Canes to be back on the field. I mean, Hurricane George did a number last week on South Florida. $400 million damage swept through Florida to the Gulf Coast. Edmonds to Holland at the 9, and they give him the catch. It'll be a first down, 1st and goal for Rutgers.
Andy Holland, a good possession receiver. Brendan Edmonds. You might remember last year against Pittsburgh, led one of the great college comebacks, a triple overtime loss to Pittsburgh, but the ball's a little bit low. Andy Holland's the kind of receiver, if he puts his hands on it, it's caught.
Just got to get it to him. Holland and Powell wide right, 3 catches, 25 yards. Riddick, one of the stars of the day, in motion. Throw it for the tight end in the corner, broken up, well done, but a penalty flag. Edward Reed came over to break it up, and Reed is hurt. Tried to get it to Chris Hutton, a 6'5" tight end.
I don't agree with that call, Dave, for one reason. The cornerback is covering man-to-man. Once Reed tips the ball, it's fair game.
Pass interference on the defense in the end zone. The ball will be placed on the 2-yard line. First down.
So Reed's able to get off the field under his own power. Take a look.
Cornerback with great coverage. Hutton, 6'5", obviously a big target. The ball is deflected, and you see 59, Michael Smith. No harm, no foul, no penalty.
What do you figure they called? Their rationale, what, face guarding on that, basically?
Well, I'll tell you what, the guy that's really stood out for me in that secondary today is Edward Reed, just a freshman. Very athletic guy. We talked about his being a member of the track team, 194-foot javelin thrower. He's also proven he can play some pretty good strong safety.
Our eye 1st and goal at the 2. Little reverse. Robinson reaches in. Touchdown, Rutgers. They beat Chevin Marshall for the touchdown.
Jermaine Robinson proving that there's no quit in this Rutgers football team. You're talking about barely getting to the corner of the end zone. Stretches out, finds pay dirt. Big block, Rich Mazza, number 55.
Barone for the extra point. Got it up in the air and through the uprights. So a nice drive by the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. Another penalty. So that penalty, pass interference, 12 penalties for 111 yards for Miami, against Miami. And guess what? There's another one. That one was declined. So we'll get a timeout on the field. Brendan Edmonds off the bench to lead Rutgers to a touchdown. Jermaine Robinson takes it in. 9:29 to go in the ball game. It's 41-17 Miami.
Now on pay-per-view, $500,000 in cash is up for grabs.
Booyah.
And it's anyone's game.
Here we go.
Rolling Stone magazine calls Jackie Brown a knockout. Pam Grier, Samuel L. Jackson, Robert Forster, Bridget Fonda, Michael Keaton, and Robert De Niro, Quentin Tarantino's Jackie Brown. Now on pay-per-view, rated R. Soundtrack available on a Band Apart Maverick Records.
Tomorrow night on Sunday Night Football, the Seattle Seahawks are at Arrowhead Stadium to face the Kansas City Chiefs. Sunday Night Football begins at 8:15 Eastern on ESPN. Then on Monday Night Football, it's an NFC Central showdown. The Minnesota Vikings take on the Green Bay Packers at historic Lambeau Field. It all starts at 8 Eastern, Monday Night Football on ABC.
Jermaine Robinson completed a 12-play, 80-yard drive. A 10-yard run. Edmonds with a 10-yard run on fourth down was a big play. Short run for Robinson of 2 yards. And we've got a 41-17 Miami lead. Crowd of 21,419 here at Rutgers Stadium. Figure onside kick here this time.
I think Terry Shea and his staff are going to kick this thing deep and let his defense play.
All right. That's exactly what happens. McDonald gets into it. Down to the goal line, and a good-looking run returned by Najee Davenport. So the first time we've seen him this afternoon. See if he stays in the backfield. Robinson, a 2-yard run. And they get the Scarlet Knights back on the board. Scott Covington's day is done. Kenny Kelly is in the game. Kelly's been productive. 7 of 8, 98 yards, 1 touchdown in action thus far out of Tampa Catholic. And Kelly out on the edge, going to throw, and he's got a man down there. Way downfield. Great play. First down for Miami, and Kenny Kelly with a deep ball to Darrell Jones. That was some throw.
Normally, coaches like to work players into the game slowly.
Yeah.
Kenny Kelly rolls left. You know what? He must have been warming up for the last quarter and a half. Straight off the bench, shows his arm strength. You know what? This is amazing, just coming off the bench. Throws a strike.
51 yards on the play.
Another guy that plays baseball. He's in the Tampa Devil Rays minor league system.
Kelly, second man through. Jackson, boy, they make this look easy. Inside the 5 to the 3. James Jackson. Little bit of talent on this Miami ball club.
A little bit of talent, but the thing that is really impressive when you watch this team is the youth. Obviously, tailback is a strong position. James Jackson, he probably said it best in our halftime report. You know, I've got power and I've got speed, and he exhibits both of those.
Andre King splits wide to the left for Kelly. 2nd and 2. Just got that playoff beating the play clock. James to the edge, to the end zone, touchdown Miami. Miami just killing Rutgers. Jackson's first touchdown of the afternoon, his 3rd of the season. Kenny Kelly with the 56-yard completion to Jones, set up that drive that didn't take a long time.
Miami's offense made this drive look easy. Obviously, Kelly's pass was a big part of it. James Jackson finds the end zone. Once again, it's a missed extra point.
So that's 2 misses this afternoon by the kicking team, but Crossland misses that one. But this game has not been in doubt for a long time. 8:07 ago, 47-17 as James Jackson walks in for the score. Pickups can go deep. Kenny Kelly with a big pass to Jones for 56 yards. Set up an easy 4-yard run by James Jackson. And Miami extends its lead to 47-17. 3 plays, 68 yards, a minute 22. And we're talking about quick strikes. We've seen it all today from Miami. Receivers with the kick. Robinson at about the 15, trying to get outside and taken down at the 24-yard line. Try to keep you up to speed on all the numerous changes on both lineups, as a lot of people are getting opportunity to play. Rob Ring, number 89, is in at tight end for the Rutgers. Looking at Matt Sweeney, one of the starters still in the game for Miami. Brendan Edmonds, his second offensive series. Jason O'Heen turns the corner, cuts it up. There's a place. Boy, there was a meeting at the 30-yard line. Al Blades has been all over the field all day. Number 7 was there. O'Heen getting up slowly. West Virginia, the wake-up call. A little late, but got it nonetheless. Ohio State going to close out Penn State. Florida up. Virginia over San Jose State. Florida State got a safety. Wisconsin, final. They come from behind to beat Indiana. Inside handoff. Not much running room for number 7, Jackie Crooks. Morgan there with Smith for the tackle. Jeff, give me an idea what your thoughts are. I mean, Rutgers, before we do, we'll do a couple of scores here. A&M trailing Kansas now, 21-17. Missouri, first score of the day. And Notre Dame with 3 touchdowns on top of Stanford. You get 47-17 under 7 to play here for Rutgers as Morgan makes a tackle. After a great week, feeling good about itself, win over Army, ends a 16-game losing streak to D1 opponents. Now you come out and just, you blow an opportunity in the first half, and now Miami just torturing you here in the second half. I mean, this doesn't help Terry Shea's case at all.
Well, I think what you look at is that third quarter. Miami allowed Rutgers to stay around in the first half, and Rutgers did not take advantage of it. They didn't make the type of plays offensively to put points on the board. And, we talked about the halftime speech that Butch Davis probably delivered. It woke his football team up, and I'm still convinced the most important drive of this game was a 2-minute drill right before the end of the half. They go in with momentum. You add to that a little fire and brimstone speech from Butch Davis.
And then you take Rutgers, got the ball in their own 20, and then fumbled at the 30 in that first possession of the third quarter.
And it's a quick strike Miami offense. You look at the third quarter, they've racked up 34 points the second half. This was a close football game at the half. Much closer than the score was at 13-3.
Edmonds, Tosh Riddick had an outstanding day. That should get him over the 100-yard mark.
Edmonds pass complete to Tosh Riddick. Tackled by Nick Ward.
And you talk about Rutgers and not seeing his team quit. Right now, Bill Miller, the defensive coordinator, he's still got his starting defensive unit on the field. When you're talking about an opportunity to get some young kids playing time, what he is saying, are we playing as hard right now in the fourth quarter as we were early in this football game?
Mentioned Tosh Riddick, 3 catches, 102 yards, and a touchdown this afternoon. Edmonds. Penalty flag. Robinson fights his way to the 46. I don't know if you saw it. Bull rush on the outside left. Quincy Hips ran through 2 people.
Well, I saw Damian Lewis working against Pete Donnelly. And have you ever been to a rodeo, Dave?
I haven't, but I know where you're going.
I'm watching Mr. Donnelly, and I'm not sure I've seen a lasso any better than what I just witnessed when he's trying to block Damian Lewis.
Holding on the offense, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Repeat the down.
You know, holding is an art that many people have perfected. You watch the left of your screen. When you watch the right, there were a lot of people holding. It could have been Mazza.
Yes.
It was definitely Donnelly.
Mazza had a good piece of Sweeney.
Maybe this thing has turned from a football game to Greco-Roman wrestling.
Which is an Olympic sport. Most certainly is. Miami just rushing 3 linemen. Edmonds takes it down. Oh, look at the closing speed. Are you kidding me? By Nate Webster. You can't help but say, wow, when you see these guys close it down.
And it's not like he's a small guy. He's 220 pounds.
Exactly.
Went to the same high school as New York Jets linebacker Marvin Jones and obviously former Miami Hurricane standout Brett Perryman.
Michael Barr to punt.
Nothing but speed. I think that's an advertisement for the tourist board of the state of Florida. You want high school football players, that's where you want to go. From the 42. Got some running room, Nick Ward. And Ward has done a nice job returning punts this afternoon.
Nick Ward on the return.
So Ward with plenty of running room gets it into Rutgers territory. 4:20 to go after that 18-yard return of a 38-yard punt. It's Miami in control, 47-17 over Rutgers. In our ESPN Plus spotlight, we focused on Dan Morgan, one of the top tacklers in the Big East Conference. And an opportunity to sit out a lot here in the second half, Jeff. But he's in there racking up some more sticks. 18 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, 2 fumble recoveries, and a pass breakup.
And the 8 tackles is almost like a day off for this guy.
Oh, yeah.
He had 6 consecutive games of 15 tackles or more.
Pretty scary. Here's Miami with the ball again. Benny Kelly on the draw on our first carry. Najee Davenport, 6'2", 235, a freshman, a redshirt freshman from Miami Central High School. And he is packing a lot there. Talking to Associate Athletic Director Larry Wall of Miami, and he was saying the first time he saw Davenport, he thought he was a shot put artist.
Yeah, he was on the track team, and he ran the 100 meters. He came in like 4th in the Big East.
And was leading about midway through that race. Those Earl Campbell thighs. Here he is again. Penalty flag. Back at the line of scrimmage.
I think we have offsides by number 56, Wayne Hampton, Rutgers defensive end.
He's battling Robert Sampson, who just came in the game, a junior offensive tackle on the left side from Brandon, Florida. How about the second half from Miami? Possession-wise, touchdown.
Offside, defense, 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. First down.
Miami's second half possessions, touchdown, touchdown, touchdown. Punt, interception for touchdown, touchdown.
Sounds like a pretty good half to me.
It sounds like a good game for a lot of squads. Kenny Kelly going to throw it, bump and go. Sideline, got a man there. Touchdown, Miami. Touchdown, Miami to Andre King for 29 yards. Andre King with an out and up.
And Kenny Kelly does a good job right there with the pump. That makes the cornerback bite. Andre King getting behind the secondary.
Beat Crenshaw.
And you know, you talk about a young offensive football team. Kenny Kelly's a freshman. We talked about him playing minor league baseball in the Devil Rays organization.
It has been a nightmare for Crossland. That's his third miss today. Slip his plant foot. We were talking about the field earlier. John Sanders pointed that out to you back in the first quarter. Nonetheless, 3:17 to go. Miami 53-17 over Rutgers. Kenny Kelly with his second TD pass of the season. This is a beauty to Andre King. Today's game has been brought to you by John Hancock Financial Services. Insurance for the unexpected, investments for the opportunities. And by the new Dodge. From cars to minivans to trucks, it's about change. The new Dodge. Back here at Rutgers Stadium, Andre King after that touchdown. 4 catches, 60 yards, and a touchdown. Todd Sievers on this gray day for Rutgers. Robinson at the 13. And he hangs in there and gets it up to the 34-yard line. And let's go sidelines for some news from John Sanders.
You know, Dave, despite the late surge there by Kenny Kelly and company, it's time to name our Dodge player of the game. And what a game it was for Santana Moss. He really got it rolling late in the first half, went on to catch 3 touchdown passes, 6 passes altogether, 146 yards, tying the Miami single-game record. No doubt about it. Santana Moss, number 6, is our Dodge player of the game. Dave and Jeff.
Thank you, John. Mike Jones going to get a chance to run the controls for the Scarlet Knights of Rutgers right now. Mike was a starter early last year and was lifted in favor of Mike McMahon. Here's Jason Alheen up to the 39. Mike Jones, 6'4" junior, 220 pounds, from Richmond, Virginia.
Block party in the Orange Bowl next week.
Talking Florida State. The big one.
They may want to reconsider that. I was flipping through the media guide, and last year they didn't enjoy much success against Florida State.
Not including the interception return. Miami, in its scoring today, done it in 7 minutes and 49 seconds. Final 2:15 and counting. West Virginia rallied big time to knock off Navy. Final, Ohio State routed Penn State. Alabama back in the game but trailing. Virginia got it done against San Jose State. Florida State will come to Miami with a win. Wisconsin victorious. A&M leading. And Missouri starting to open it up. Stanford finally on the board. 47-0 Florida State over Miami last year. Canes get something to prove. Alvin up the middle, drags up to the 48-yard line. Before we get out of here, I want to salute some outstanding work today by Statman Rich Freesia here in the booth and official stats John Lombarda, spotter Chad Holland, and our stage manager Bob Anderson.
Those guys have a hard job of making us look good, don't they?
Especially when we're looking at 70 points on the board combined today. Try to get it outside with O'Heen. Undercut and flipped by Marquise Fitzgerald.
Offended by Marquise Fitzgerald.
Tale of two teams. Miami going to go home. Real excited about taking on Florida State. And for Rutgers, after last week, fine performance against Army. It all comes apart here today against a good Miami ball club that's going to get its first win in the Big East this year. And if you're Miami, you got to be just livid with yourself right now. As Jones goes for Verduzco, incomplete. Miami had penalty flag on the play as Miami a couple of weeks ago turned the ball over 5 times in 6 possessions against Virginia Tech and lost in overtime. Upcoming schedule for the Scarlet Knights: Pittsburgh, Tulane, Temple, Navy, West Virginia, and Va-Tech. And last week, UCLA's game with Miami wiped out by the Hurricane. We asked Butch Davis about rescheduling.
I know that there's been some discussions between the two athletic directors. I think the discussions have taken a real decidedly positive turn during the course of the week. We both obviously have an open date of December the 5th. It's 2 weeks after their Southern Cal game, 1 week after our Syracuse ball game. So hopefully that game can be rescheduled. I think certainly both coaching staffs and the players would love to see it played.
Talented UCLA ball club, too. It'd be a good test for both teams. Mike Jones, third quarterback today for Rutgers. Jones over the middle, Verduzco right through his hands. Could be a lot of scenarios. You know, say UCLA does not want to finish, does not want to play that game. If they're in good shape, maybe as it terms of going for the national championship, if they're unbeaten.
Or if they're sitting, you know, with the berth to the Rose Bowl, you have to believe they're not going to play that.
Sure. And if Miami at 5-5 looking to get its 6th win to get to a bowl game.
And you saw Miami's schedule. They're getting ready to step into alignment next week at Florida State. The following week they have West Virginia, and after that they have Boston College, a very improved football team.
Loose ball. Did Jones get it back? Miami's recovered.
Miami
for another turnover by Rutgers. Lawson on the recovery. Mike Lawson, senior out of Delray Beach. Rutgers 4 turnovers today, Miami with 1. So final 26 seconds here from Piscataway.
That is the best offensive formation in football.
You ain't lying. Miami convincing here in the second half, improves to 3-1 overall. 1-1 in the Big East, while Rutgers drops to 2-3 and 0-3 in the Big East Conference. A resounding Miami second half performance, 53-17 here in Piscataway, New Jersey. Not too much doubt about this one here in the second half. Santana Moss, 3 TD pass receptions this afternoon. For Jeff Bostic and John Sanders, I'm Dave Sims. Thanks for joining us. The proceeding has been a presentation of ESPN Regional Television.